is going on? And welcome back to another episode of the Game Time Podcast. Today is episode 14, and you are joined with your two illustrious hosts, SnowBikeMike and my guy, Tom Bach. What's going on, Tom Bach? How you feeling today?
I'm feeling great. It is Sunday. Football is on. We just got done with the whole kind of funny Extra Life stream, and dude, it's been a good 48 hours and a great weekend. Exciting to talk to you as always.
Oh, Tom Bach, it's been a perfect weekend, and what a great way to finish out the weekend than talking a little sports and video games with one of my best friends. So let's jump right into it. It's episode 14. Let's kick it off. I know you want to know about my trip to TwitchCon 2018. Why don't we start off with some fun, some shenanigans that went down in sunny San Jose, California?
I want to know all about it. It pained me really greatly not to be there with you, bud. I saw a lot of the stuff that you posted. I watched a ton of the stuff on the summer skirmish for Fortnite, which was really, really cool to watch all that. I was bugging you the whole time, texting you like, dude, I saw you met Ninja, you met Shroud. Like I was losing my mind. So I want to hear all about it, dude. Give me the lowdown on the entire thing. I'm excited to hear about it.
Let's give you the rundown. So night one was Thursday, so we're going to call that the pre-convention night. And that night was super fun and awesome because Ninja was throwing his own 21 plus free party over at this nightclub in San Jose. It was him and Dylan Francis, a massive EDM artist. And let me tell you, Tom, that is the way you kick off a convention, with just a whole lot of alcohol, a whole lot of dancing, and a whole lot of fun. So we went down to San Jose. We got there probably about 3 to 5 p.m., showered, relaxed, got some food in us, and then went over to this nightclub, Club Pure. And let me tell you, when we first showed up, there wasn't a line. I didn't know what was happening. You know, we did show up kind of early right as doors opened up, but it was awesome because when we walked in, Tom, Ninja was right there on the dance floor, literally taking photos and greeting every single person with a smile on his face. It was like seeing Greg Miller in the flesh, but Ninja status. And I mean, this kid shook everybody's hands, smiled, took photos with anybody that wanted to. So, of course, me being me, I looked right at Christian. I said, take this cell phone. We're getting a photo with Ninja. Walked right up to him, said, what up? Hey, you're amazing. Thanks for everything you do. Got a photo with him. Started off the night, all smiles. Everybody was happy, right?
So wait a second. Go back. How did you get tickets to this thing?
Oh, we just bought them online. He was selling them. Like,
oh my God.
He had the forethought, Tom, of like, I'm going to be there. Let's make more money, or let's throw a big party in my name at this nightclub. So they were just selling tickets that you could buy. They were like $50 a piece, but it was well worth the entrance price because we had so much fun.
So how many people do you think were there? Like, give me a rough
we
number.
Packed that nightclub. Oh my God. That's tough. Probably 500 plus, maybe. My God. It was a big nightclub, Tom. I mean, like, it was a big nightclub. I don't know true numbers on that, but if we were jammed in there, it was packed.
Good for him for doing that. That's a really interesting idea to get his fans in there and to be that gracious. And he seems like such a nice kid. Like he genuinely does.
Yeah. So down to earth, so nice. And like the coolest part as we got into it, Tom, of like people were buying booths for an absorbent price with the bottles. And I was looking at the team like, if this guy is really what he is, he would personally go to each and every one of these booths and shake their hands. That's what I would do to show, hey, thank you for coming. Thanks for buying the tickets, right?
Of course.
I promise you, 20 minutes later, Ninja now has a professional photo team and Dylan Francis, and they are going to every single booth, shaking hands, talking with all of the guests that were there, sharing an experience of a lifetime, and probably took 5 minutes at each booth, shaking hands, taking photos, going to the next booth. Wow. They went around the whole nightclub, Tom, with a professional photographer and made every single person who bought a booth feel super special. It was so cool. It was the right thing to do. And it was one of those, you look back, you're like, man, like that was awesome. So we got him walking around with Dylan Francis. We got one DJ up, kicking up the beats. We got way too much alcohol going on. I mean, of course, shout out to Kevin Asex. He bought us bottles. And let me tell you what, I was getting loose, Tom, okay? I was getting loose.
You told me.
Normally, I don't like to kick off a convention getting loose because you want to start off those 3 days strong. You know, you want to be hydrated, replenished. You want your feet to feel good. Nope. I said, you know what? Give me as much alcohol as my body can handle, and let's dance all night long. And so while the mayhem is happening, of course, we're talking, this is Ninja and Dylan Francis. So guess what? Everybody's showing up. Tim the Tatman's in the building. Courage is in the building. Shroud's in the building. I mean, this place was electric with faces that you had known and watched in the esports and Twitch community everywhere, which was so cool because now all of a sudden we're in the nightclub. It's you and I'm walking right up to you for a photo and to say what's up. So I got a photo with Courage. I was super wasted. Got a photo with Shroud. That was pretty cool and awesome.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was great because Christian even got a photo with Dylan Francis and Ninja. He followed him around to each booth. And like nobody had the foresight of like, well, if he's walking this way, I'm going to cut him off here and take a photo. So there's Christian waiting for him right there. And bang, got a photo with both of them. He was happy as can be. And yeah, I mean, a lot of drinking, a lot of dancing. We had my buddy Sad Boy Sean, who we've talked about before. You know, Sad Boy Sean is getting loose when he has a giant smile on his face. All of his buttons on his button-up t-shirts are now unbuttoned, and he is doing this to the nightclub girl, telling her to bring more drinks.
Oh, yeah.
He's got his hands out. He's telling her, bring more drinks. And so that was a great way to end the first night of the pre-convention party. Then we got to day one. And day one, if you know anything about TwitchCon 2018, day one was a true fiasco. Okay, so before I preference the fiasco, let's rewind really quick because I forgot to tell you, badge pickup on Thursday was the smoothest, fastest badge pickup line experience I had ever seen. I mean, Tom, we went into a line that could have at many other conventions taken 2 hours. This line took 15 minutes. They had it dialed. There was more people with badges than you could ever imagine, and they were waving people left and right. You're here. Let's go. Get over here. Give me your ticket information. Bang. We were in and out faster than a fast food restaurant.
So they didn't send him ahead of time? You actually had to get him there at the site?
That was a big issue. I like when they send them to me. So we had to get them on site, but our experience, fast, easy, convenient. It was perfect. Now we fast forward to day one, and there is a fiasco on our hands, folks. We got an issue, and it is building to the point where affiliates and partners were supposed to be let in an hour early than the doors were supposed to open to public. We showed up at 9 for a 10 a.m. open door policy for affiliates and partners. We proceeded to show up to everybody that was attending the convention in front of this building. I mean, to the right of you, there is badge pickup that is now lined up for probably a 2+ hour wait. In front of the main doors, this has just become a fiasco. There's no Twitch staff saying, hey, you should be here, you should be there. It is literally everybody and their mama. I'm talking partners, affiliates, community are all mashed up into one ugly line that went from the front doors, wrapped all the way around the block, wrapped down another block in front of the Marriott that had a protest going on, and then it proceeded to do this at the end of the block. Snake back again, which the third snake was in the road, Tom Bach. I mean, cars had to drive around people that were standing in the road waiting in a line that somebody from this organization should have been out in front. Hey, guys, maybe we should wrap around here. Hey, guys, if you're this, you should be here.
Yeah, why did they not think of that?
Tom, there was not a single person with a megaphone in their hands taking care of business like they should have. People were in danger in the streets. We had a protest going on to our right. We had people from the community that shouldn't be in the line in general. And now here we are from 9 a.m. till 11:30, Tom. We didn't even get close to the front door after 2.5 hours of waiting, to the point where we are now probably 2 hours still away from the front door. These kids come up to us, and he talks to the kid in front of me and goes, hey, I'll give you $20 if you let me and my buddy cut.
Oh,
kid,
no way.
Good on him. Kid looked at me and said, hey, what do you think about this? Which, of course, 2.5 hours in, I looked at him. I was like, hey, bro, take that money, baby. Take that $20. You put it in your pocket. What's two people to us? What's two people? And he's smiling. He's laughing. I'm like, but only one thing. You got to follow all of our Twitch pages. And the kid was like, really? I was like, you follow this name. You follow that kid's name.
No way.
It was $20. We all laughed, right? He turns around 5 minutes later. He goes, I have 2 more buddies that want to cut the line. We'll give you another 20. Kid looks at me again. I go, take the money, kid.
You
take
know the deal.
20. Bang, we took 20 in our pocket right there.
That's awesome.
So now It is 11:45, and we are probably 30 to an hour still away from the entrance doors. I mean, it is ugly.
Are they letting people in at this point? I mean, is it just not...
Everybody and their mama, Tom Bach. Became fiasco.
Wow.
And then we found out that people were in before 9 a.m. There was just a flood of people that they didn't even corral, right? And so
I wonder what
I'll
happened.
never forget this moment. It is 11:45. We are still so far away. And the kid behind us who we met, shout out to Skeeter Moonshine and Hellcat Razor. These two kids coming fresh out of the strip club who had been partying all night look at me and the gang and they're like, well, we're sick of waiting here. We're going to find a side entrance and we're going in. And I'm looking at them like, okay. Skeeter Moonshine goes, hey,
Skeeter.
There's a door over there. Let's go. And so I look at my boys. I'm like, I'm going to go with them. I'll call you if this actually happens. You hold our spot just in case things go downhill, right? Bang. Me, Skeeter, and Hellcat proceed to go through a side door, and we are now faced in front of a line that nobody had talked about, nobody that had shown a side entrance with 3 people in the line. 3 people in the line, and there's not a single Twitch employee saying, hey, guys, get out of the sun. Go in this line. Hey, guys, you've been here for 4 hours. There's a line over here you should know about. So now I get on the phone to my boys. I'm like, get over here now. Get through this side door.
Yeah.
We proceed to get in, and everybody and their mama's already in there. We walk in. The merch line, Tom, is already a half day long. I'm like, well, guess what? I'm never buying merch again. That's too bad. Would have gave them $500+ in merch sales. And there's merch lines through the roof, Tom. So now we get in. Already half of the day is gone to day one, and we get to walk around. So now we get emails on our phone. Twitch is apologizing for the line inconvenience. They're going to keep the show floor open for an extra hour till 7 p.m., and they're going to open the lines earlier tomorrow. Good on them. Way to adjust, but still. Whoa. Yeah. That was ugly, Tom. That was bad one.
You have all year to prepare for crowd control, and you have a really good idea because you sold the tickets, how many people are there. Like that, something must have happened, dude, right? Don't you figure something broke down, something fell apart? That's impossible that it was that bad.
That's funny you say that. That's what Christian and Sean were yelling at me of like, they sold the tickets. They should know how many people are coming, Mike. Like, they should have planned for this. And I'm like, I don't know what's going on, boys, but thank God we're in, you know?
Not their first rodeo, right? It's not like the first time they've done it either. Dude, that's crazy. I had no idea. So the fact that you had the patience to stand through that, I couldn't have done it. That would have driven me crazy.
And you know me, Tom. My skin is as fair as the snow on the ground in winter. And I proceeded to get blasted by the fall sun. I mean, sunburn day one. I'm pissed. I mean, I looked at the boys. I'm like, this sucks. I'm going to get sunburnt now. And we proceeded to just stand in the sun, just baking, right? And of course, the pre-emails about security. We talked about security, you and I, about PAX and beyond after the Jacksonville incident. Well, now here's security. Day one, they send you out an email. Hey, no backpacks allowed in here. Ain't nobody bringing backpacks in here. Bring a fanny pack. Oh, no, that wasn't the case, Tom Bach. We show up and everybody and their mama has the biggest backpack you've ever seen, and they're letting everybody in. There was no, hey, we're cool with we're not cool with backpacks. You got to leave that. No, everybody and their mama brought in their own backpack. But security was pretty chill. Metal detector, open up your bags, put your cell phones down, go through the security detector.
A lot like RTX.
It was good. It wasn't bad at all. It was smooth enough. But for them to say, don't bring your backpacks, and you to plan to only bring a fanny pack now when you could have brought deodorant, an extra t-shirt, blah, blah, blah. And for you to not do that, to follow the rules, but everybody, the 90% of the community has a giant backpack on their back. You're like, what is the breakdown here? You know what I mean? Or did they feel so bad that we waited 3 hours in line that they couldn't tell the kid no backpack now, you know?
Could be.
But it was mayhem. So day one, we get in half day. I felt bad for everybody after us because we snuck in through a side door. I can't imagine the kids that actually waited in line that were with us and beyond. I mean, Tom, we got there. We might have waited 2.5 hours. There was kids that were snake lining into the street that I told you about that probably waited 4+ hours just to get into the line, you know?
I don't get it.
And so we got in. We walked the show floor. The show floor is beautiful, Tom. I mean, giant meet and greet section over to your left. Giant artist alley with everything you could imagine here. Then the show floor has so many games, more games than you could play in a day. They got so many booths from, DX Racer chairs, Elgato's there, Corsair's there. It's like everybody's there. They even have Twitch areas where you could learn and grow your channel. Of course, our goal going into this was, how can Mike better his Twitch channel and become a better broadcaster? So instead of, I'm waiting the merch booth, I'm going to go buy something. No, we went right up to the Twitch people and we started talking. We talked to the bit people. We talked to channel analytics. We talked to subscribers. We talked to channel moderation. We talked to everything there that could help you grow that first day, because we were there on a mission to be better and be the best. So that was A+ stuff there.
And was it worthwhile? I mean, was it
It was
like
super,
101 stuff you already knew, or
did
you get anything good out of it? Yeah.
It was like anything that you can imagine, a situation like that. If there was 6 booths, 3 of them were active, engaging, and intelligent. The other 3 were like, oh man, they just kind of put me here. I don't really know. Or like the one kid's like mumbling to you because he's scared. And me, Tom, I'm over there like, hey, why don't you tell me about the bit program? Indulge me. I want to get better. Yeah. And the guy's like, they just kind of put me here, Mike, with bits. And I'm like, dude, you shouldn't have been here, bro. Like, I understand it's day one and you're easing into this, but if you were put here, you better have the spiel ready to go. I mean, we walked to one group that was talking about channel extensions, and the guy was like, I'll show you the PowerPoint, and proceeded to just slide by slide, didn't even say anything about the slides, just press the button on the slide. And we're like, okay, bro, you tried your best on that one. That wasn't good,
Dude, that's so funny. Yeah, but as long as you get something out of it. I always wonder with Twitch too, because it's, they have such an interesting setup with their broadcasters, because you're obviously not their employees, but they're highly dependent on you putting out high quality content. So they want you to be good, because it does nothing but help them in the long run for you to be really good. Did you see a lot? The thing about Twitch, you and I follow certain people, and there's so many more that I don't ever think about that are equally as famous as a Ninja or Summit or any of these guys, kind of the old school guys, right? The old Counter-Strike crew. Did you see a bunch of people that you knew were famous, but you didn't know who they were? Or did you feel like you largely had a pretty good handle on, because the Doc didn't go, which I thought was kind of interesting, and I'm not exactly sure why he didn't go, or if there was more to that story or not, but what was the, do you feel like most of the big streamers went to it?
I would say most of the big streamers went to it, but you rarely saw them.
Yeah.
I think the Brad's breakdown went like this, Tom. 10 to 15% were community people. 10% were partners. And then 80 or whatever that final breakdown was Twitch affiliates. I mean, everybody and their mama was a Twitch affiliate, right? And so you would notice the Pokimane over there. You would notice X, Y, and Z person that you've seen as a big broadcaster. And then there was just people all around, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Ninja did a great job he walked the show floor many of times. And if you want to know what a cultural phenomenon is, you watch Ninja at this TwitchCon walk the show floor, him being so down to earth, which is awesome, but literally children looking at each other, looking at him, and then screaming, oh my God, it's Ninja, and proceeding to run and follow this man around the show floor. I mean, hordes of people just everywhere around this guy. It was incredible to watch, Tom.
That's
incredible.
That's insane. It's funny too, because this is a little bit off topic, but when I don't know if you got to watch much of the fall skirmish or whatever it was that they did there. My daughter was watching some of it, and she's like, why doesn't Ninja play in these things? And I'm like, I stopped for a minute and I went, why would he? Why would he risk not being viewed as the best player in the... Why would you even attempt to get into that at this point? Because everyone thinks you're the best, and where you make your money now is not from stuff like that. You're not going to get... So what, you win 10 grand on a Twitch tournament. That Joker's making that in an hour practically on his stream. It's like, why would you ever step foot in one of these tournaments? Because all you could do is make yourself actually look worse, right? If you didn't win or you didn't do really well, some of the mystique you have could kind of like wear off a little bit. So why even try? There's no reason to even attempt to do it. And I thought about that for a minute. I'm like, that's exactly what the deal is. Like, I wouldn't go out there and do it if I was Ninja, because I'm sure they asked him to. I mean, they had to have asked him to be in it, right? They would have had to have asked him to be in it. Because
Tom, that's brilliant.
Yeah,
I never would have thought of that, because I would have thought the same thing of like, why isn't this guy in the mix right now? Why isn't he playing? Never thought of that, Thomas. Right? You got to keep that
you can mystique
about you. You got to keep that look. Is right. I like that, Tom.
Right.
And so, I mean, it was incredible, Tom. Like I said, the show floor. Then on the far right, you have the Doritos Bowl esports experience, which was like this stadium type look, big esports stage. They had Golden Boy and all the big commentators come for 3 days of action, over into a whole nother room that I bet many people didn't even see, was this nice, well-lit, natural lighting, all windowed in room full of just old school arcade games that you could play for free.
Oh, very cool.
Bean bags to sit in. They had the Bitnado, which is like your cash tornado at any casino, where you would go in the Bitnado. You had to grab as many bits as you could, and they would give you free bits to go donate to people. So that was really awesome. We did that. I'll tell you about later. And then in the back, you would have never have known if you didn't go outside, because it already felt big. But to go outside, they had a giant food truck area, and then they had the giant bubble dome, which was the South Hall, a.k.a. the Fortnite experience, which was incredible to see, Tom. I mean, we're talking a giant football bubble dome space with all the way to the right. There's the stations like you talked about of all 100 kids playing in the competition. In the middle, you have the biggest viewing area that you could imagine with stadium seating, beanbag chairs, a giant projector screen, and the esports commentators all weekend long going at it. Next to that, they had your mini golf from PAX. They had a merch booth. They had photo ops. And then at the farthest left, if you can imagine, this thing was bigger than 2 football fields. Farthest left, they had the Nerf dart experience, because Nerf, so brilliant, said, you know what? We could make Nerf dart guns after Fortnite and sell Nerf dart guns. So they had the Nerf dart experience, was literally a paintball arena, but you just shot Nerf darts at each other, which was awesome. We did that later in the weekend. And so after day one, I would truly call that a half day. It was very upsetting to only be there for a half day, but we got our money's worth walking around. We didn't attend any panels. How could you attend the Twitch keynote, the biggest panel of the weekend, started at 11. People didn't even get until noon or 2 p.m. I mean, how heartbreaking is that? Nobody had the foresight of like, hey, we're doing this keynote and half of the room is filled.
It's not even going to be there.
Like maybe we shouldn't do this right now, or maybe we should open the floodgates. That was upsetting to miss that. That's the big kickoff of the thing, you know? And so we left that evening at 5 p.m. because me and Christian that evening were going up to Oakland, California to go into Oracle Arena for Drizzy Drake, a.k.a. Champagne Poppy. And I cannot wait to tell you about that. So 2 things on that. A, incredible to see Drake. We'll talk about the concert experience. B, a little sad because that Friday night, they had the TwitchCon actual party, right? So that's where they went to the San Jose Earthquake soccer field. They had Diplo, a big EDM artist. They had carnival games in the back. And that was like every year they do something cool. Like last year they had T-Pain at the Padres, Petco Park Padres Stadium. So like that's one of those of like, man, that would have been fun to go to experience that. But we knew when we looked at the schedule, that was probably going to fall on Friday, but we wanted to see Drake. So me and Christian loaded up the car, took an hour through traffic to get to Oakland. We pull up in Oakland. Perfect timing, Tom. I mean, we got there. My favorite is the guy selling the rip-off T-shirts in the streets, right? I mean, you're driving 30 miles an hour, and these guys are in the middle of the streets. T-shirts, T-shirts, T-shirts. I'm like, Christian, roll down the window. I'm buying a Drake T-shirt. He's like, you can buy it inside. I'm like, no, I'm helping this guy out. Bang, I just throw him $30. He throws me a T-shirt, right?
That's so funny.
And so we park. We get through the little security. They had metal detectors as well in there. And we walk into Oracle, and the first thing I look for is the merch booth. Again, a line that would probably take an hour again.
That's crazy. Oh.
I look at Christian, I'm like, guess what? We're not buying merch again. This is really bad this weekend. Christian gets a hamburger. I get a beer from the girl. She's pouring it, and right as she hits mid-pour, bang, the beat has dropped, and the Migos are out there. She's dancing. I'm like, oh, lady, this is going to be crazy. She's like, go have fun. We immediately walked to our seats. Took us 3 seconds. We are now live and in action for the Migos to kick off the concert. I got girls to the right of me. I got girls to the left of me. And this party is jumping, Tom. I mean, I thought basketball games were loud for the Warriors.
Oh,
you
not
go
like
to
that.
a Drake and Migos concert with 18,000+ people.
In Oakland?
That place was rocking, Tom. I mean, whether it be the Migos, whether it be Drake, that place was so loud that you might have to cover your ears occasionally.
That's awesome.
So that proceeded all day waiting in line, all day walking TwitchCon to 3 hours in Oracle, standing and dancing. I never sat down. It was just nonstop dancing, shaking, jiving. I think I filmed all of Drake's concert set. It was incredible to watch.
Dude, you had a day. That is about as full of a day as you can get, literally.
I'm still shaking off the hangover from the Ninja Party. Now I'm out here in Oracle. That was incredible. So awesome to see Drake, because it was funny. 2 weeks before we went to TwitchCon, I said to myself, man, you know, I really want to see Drake in concert. Like, I wonder what he's doing. And we literally looked online to Ticketmaster, and it just so happened 2 weeks later at TwitchCon, he was going to be in Oakland. So it was like, it was meant to be, Tom. It was all meant to be.
I don't even want to ask you what you paid for the tickets. You don't have to tell me. I can't believe
we paid a lot of money, baby. We paid a lot of money.
You don't even want to ask.
It's so worth it. And so now we drive back home. The drive with no traffic, so fast from Oakland to San Jose. We flew back home, right? And so now we get a nice, good day of rest in. Now, day 2, we got a game plan. We're like, okay, clearly we're going through the side door. We're not waiting in the front. We know what we're doing. We park the car. We immediately walk straight over to the side door. We get in. And then, of course, what happened again, Tom? They let people in early before the doors were even supposed to open. Place is packed, and the merch line, again, is a whole day's wait already. I'm looking at this place like, why are there so many people in line? The doors haven't even opened yet. What are y'all doing, you know? I mean, we got there so early, they wouldn't let us in, but you could see the merch line was already packed. You could see people on the show floor above us. We asked the guy, was like, how did these people already get in? He's like, oh, they had an accident. They let people in already. It was like, you let that many people in? Like, just open the floodgates now then. Like,
dude,
it doesn't even matter.
that they're this discoordinated. Like, this is not like it's just it's Amazon. Amazon owns Twitch. It's not like it's some small company that doesn't know how to put on a show. I don't understand how this was so messed up, dude.
So many people. And so day 2, we did a great job of. Day 2 was panel day. We had seen the show floor. We'd done Artist Alley. We've done it all. We're going to go to panels. So I started my morning off with an esports fireside chat with DJ Wheat and another awesome esports. We'd call him esports news reporter, kind of like a journalist, esports journalist. And that was really fun. You know, they were talking esports, the growth of it, everything. I had NBA 2K League managers and general managers behind me. That was cool. I got to meet them afterwards. Great start to the day. Second one I went to was First to the Mic hosting 101, which was incredible, Tom. I thought to myself, man, I'm already hosting. I'm already doing this. You know, what will I truly take away from this? And I took so much out of it.
Good.
Like we always talk about, Tom, if you want to do something in life, no matter who you are, no matter what that thing is, just start doing it. And the big takeaway was one guy. It was really cool. They had the girl hosting and, kind of narrating the panel, and she was a mega host. She had done esports events, on stage hosting. Next to her was the guy who runs CSA Agency, who oversees like a talent pool of 60 different hosts and gets them all gigs. That was super cool. And she was with him, right? So she was part of his talent agency. Next to them, they had a guy who was totally independent, had made it big on Twitch, and was given the opportunity to host PAXs and different E3 coverages all on his own. And so they kind of had that dynamic of like, this is what it looks like to be independent, doing it all by yourself. This is what it looks like to have 15% cut out of your paycheck, but he books me all my gigs. He gets me my hotels. I don't have to do any of that, you know? And so it was really good. But the big takeaway was, why aren't you doing this right now? And the guy looked at us and was like, hey, this girl got to become a host because last year at TwitchCon, she bought her own portable microphone and went to every booth and cosplayer and just started interviewing people. Are you doing that right now? Are you hosting an esports event on your Twitch channel for fun? You can do this right now. And so what did I do? I looked at Christian. I said, bring up Best Buy. Let's buy a microphone right now. What did we do? We bought a portable microphone. We picked it up that night. So day 3, Mike Howard had a microphone in his hand and we walked to every booth. We were acting a fool
Did you really?
with a microphone. Oh, it was great, Tom. So
where did you put them all? Did you put them like on Insta or what did you do?
Yeah, Christian will be uploading a vlog and all the interviews coming up soon.
Oh, dude, I can't wait. I didn't know. You didn't tell me you did this. That's awesome.
Yeah, we did. We definitely took it up to the next level on that. And it was just simply, if you want this, let's go out and take it. And that's what we're doing. It was a great message and we did it. And then to wrap up day 2, the final panel we went to was Branding 101 and what defines your brand. And now I think for me, I think I have a pretty good brand. I have a great logo. I have a great brand statement of high energy fun. And I think I encompass all of that. And I think a lot of the kids in the room were still trying to figure out who they were or what a logo looks like. And a lot of the topic was more, how do you get a logo? How does that logo define you? Which I'm kind of already past that. I think what I was looking for that was, what's my elevator pitch to sell Tom Bach on me? What's my 45 seconds to 30 seconds of, hey, Tom, this is the SnowBikeMike brand. You should watch me or you should support me because of X.
Yeah.
And I think I'm still trying to find that or maybe just redefine it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think I have the brand. I have what I want, but I want to get that 30-second pitch of like, here's the perfect keywords that are me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you've got this structure of it. It's just, Ben, you and I talked about this a ton of time with the streamers we watch. It's such a fascinating thing to try to figure out what it is that's going to make you successful. There's the obvious. There's the guys that don't do anything. Like I was watching, I don't know if you know, there's a Fortnite guy named Dakota. I think he's on Team Solo Mod, TSM Dakota.
Team Solo Mid. Yeah. Okay.
He doesn't even show his face, but he's so good. So you get people that can stream because they're fantastic players. That's the easy one. And then you get the guys that are super big personalities, but are not very good. And then you get that weird mix of people that are both Doc and other ones, right? I think with you've got the idea and it's just these other little, kind of refining the edges of what it is. Because there's only so many ideas out there, right? And there's only so many ways you can approach it that I'm sure all these kids, everybody that does this is, you mentioned that Pokimane girl, like, how did she get famous? Like, seriously, she's a cute girl. She's getting 20,000 people watching her every single time she plays Fortnite now. I flip it on and I see her. I watch her a little bit and I kind of stop and go, what specifically about her got her to that spot? Unlike the other people, like Nick Merckx, I watch a lot. I know exactly what he does. He's funny as hell. And he's like every dude I grew up with in New York, right? He's just like bro. I'm always fascinated by how people get to that level. Like, what did they do to get there? What got their fan base from, like, let's say where you are to 500, 1,000, 2,000, 5,000, 10,000. Like some of these people are just, they turn on their PC and they get 20,000 people watching them. It's crazy.
Yep. And so it was really fun to watch the panel that they had, talk about that. And I think one of the heartwarming moments for me is the guy looked at everybody and was like, hey, who here is looking for a logo? And like half the room raises their hands, right? And then he proceeds to look at him and goes, who here is an artist that makes logos? 20 kids raise their hands. He goes, why don't all of the artists right now pull out your business cards? And if you need a logo, go see those kids. Yeah. And it was the biggest smiles on half the room's face of, here's the kid holding up his business card, and 5 kids scurry over to him, grab the business card, smiling, and walk back to their seats.
That's amazing.
It was like, that was what I was looking for. I love seeing that out of kids who are just like me, who are grinding, working towards their goal, networking, doing all that. And it just takes somebody, because everybody is either glued to their cell phone, we saw way too much of up there at TwitchCon, or everybody's too afraid to talk to somebody and they only stand in their clique. And sometimes it just takes one person to break the ice with a statement like that, or a little bit of fun, where now everybody's engaged, everybody's smiling, and they're not afraid to talk to each other. And that was truly a beautiful moment.
Which is why people are there. You got to, like you said, TwitchCon's a little bit different in the sense that I think that unlike E3, unlike PAX even, people can just be fans. They're not out there necessarily trying to do anything past that. Probably half the people at TwitchCon, if not more, want to be in that business. Like they're trying to do something with it. And like you said, you're all there together. You may have a different walk of life. Like you and I even talk about with our own podcast, right? Finding someone that does graphics, finding someone who does editing, finding someone who does themes, whatever. They're all there. And you just need somebody to kind of hook you guys up. That's actually genius that guy did that. That's really kind of the point of those conferences. If you stop and think about it, that's kind of what it's for.
Oh, it was so great. And so day 2 was heavy panels. We walked around, got to see some of the Doritos Bowl. Day 2, I believe, had the Team Ninja, Team Shroud, Team Lupo, and Team somebody else throwdown on Call of Duty Black Ops 4 Blackout mode, which is awesome.
Yeah.
You and I have talked about it. I love the ingenuity, the tenacity, especially me coming from the NBA 2K shoutcasting, where it takes so much just for them to try to organize something like this and actually have the tournament run smooth without private matchmaking, without these guys being able to load up into the same lobby and kill each other.
Right.
So there it is. It's like 4 different teams on 4 different games. We're counting kills now. We're counting damage, and anything could go wrong. But somehow they make this show so much fun. Somehow they can figure out the leaderboard and tell who's actually winning. I mean, the ingenuity and tenacity to do that is so amazing. And to have the bright lights on there. I mean, that area was packed, Tom, from the seating area to people standing outside staring in. That was super awesome. And of course, to have those big names on there, like they interview Shroud, like, hey, Shroud, how you feeling today? You think you're going to win this? And then like looks at the camera all nonchalant. Oh, we're going to win this. And then just walks away and you're like, all right, bro, like, let's do it, And of course he wins it, So it was super fun to watch. And that was mainly day 2. Day 2, a lot of panels, very chill, relaxed. Day 3, we came into it and you could tell now everybody's tired. Now everybody's feeling it. What happened day 3? Merch line again is a whole nother day long of merch line. I'm over here like, you either sacrifice a day to go into the merch booth to buy the large hoodie sweatshirt you want, or in my case, I promise you, I went to RTX and spent $500+ on merch. You know, I was going to do a TwitchCon, Tom Bach, for some Twitch merchandise, spend way too much money. But there it is. I can't even get in line.
They can't even take my money. Forget it. I'm not gonna inconvenience myself to give you my money. Sorry, tough.
So guess what? You don't get that. So now day 3, everybody's tired, but I still had the energy. I had the new microphone, the portable microphone, which is right here in my hands. And so we decided that we were going to go to every booth, every video game, any cosplay person we can meet, and we were going to have the SnowBikeMike on location interviews and podcasts. So I proceeded to walk to everybody. We got to talk to one game developer who half of his team is out in El Salvador creating this game right now. It's called The Last Friend. It's a tower defense game mixed up with a side-scrolling beat-em-up game where you are the last human on Earth defending and protecting all of the cutest dogs on the planet because a nuclear bomb set off on the planet and now everybody's a mutant trying to eat dogs. And you are trying to defend your dog rescuing car while beating up zombies, mutants that are coming down these 3 lanes, and you have to tower defense it. So we're talking to this guy, and I cannot tell you the joy that I brought this man engaging with him instead of just going up, hey, can I play your game?
Right.
Okay, you got give me stickers. Yeah. It was like, hey, dude, tell me about yourself. Talk to me. Let's have a microphone chat. This guy was overjoyed for me to stand next to him and talk to him. It was one of my best interactions I've ever had, right? And so there we are. We're over at the Total War booth. We get to see Tom Hawkins, a kind of funny best friend over there. He's part of that team. Half of the team from the UK, he says they sent out like 5 kids to go work the booth with the other half of Americans. They're rocking it with Total War expansion and a new game that's coming out. We got to talk with Tom. We're over there. The best one is now we're playing this game that just looks like, what was the game that Andy was just playing, Tom, that you bought in the special statue
Hyper Light
for?
Drifter.
It looks exact. So they called it a dating sim, but a dungeon crawling dating sim. So it had the action and movements.
Yes, they had it at PAX.
Exactly like Hyper Light Drifter, but then it was a dating sim where all of your dates were your weapons that you played with.
Dude,
so I'm vibing with
the
chick. I'm like, oh, blah, blah, blah. This is so cool. She's laughing. We go into the booth now to play it, right? Kevin is standing over me, filming it. She walks up to him. She goes, are you filming the game right now? And Kevin looks at him like, no, I'm just filming Mike. And she goes, okay, good. Don't film that game. Whoops, we didn't know that. Okay, we
Can't
didn't
be
know
putting
that.
my game out on the internet. Sorry.
We thought if her goal was to be there, she would want the publicity. Wouldn't you want people to share your game, you know? So
Maybe.
yeah, that was super funny. Super funny to learn that when we laughed at that. And so, yeah, that day was great. We got to see my buddy Grand Pooh Bear, who, was up here in Tahoe with me. He became really big. I mean, I watched Grand Pooh Bear grind from 14 people watching him play H1Z1 to finding fame and stardom, becoming a massive Mario Maker, Mario super speedrunner on all these levels, to just be in his line. And now this is how it looked when we saw Grand Pooh Bear in his meet and greet line. To the right of us, Ninja on the same time slot. 4 lines filled, plus out the hallway. I'm in Grand Pooh Bear's line. He's got 30 people, and they're all laughing, engaging with each other. It was cool to see him have his own little community that was there to support him.
Good for him.
So we had some fun. We got to shake his hand, make him smile. I mean, like I said, I've known him up in Tahoe for so many years. To go out there and show him some support, it meant a lot to him. So that was cool. And then day 3, we had the kind of funny best friend meetup. So I had the goal of let's bring everybody together. Let's talk it out. Let's go into the Nerf Dart challenge so I can shoot somebody's eyeball out. So that day we didn't anticipate the Fortnite fall skirmish that you were talking about. The finale was Sunday afternoon. So now that bubble is so packed, they're not letting people in. It's like an hour-long wait line to get in. They're like, oh, man, now we're not going to be able to do the Nerf Dart challenge. So everybody comes, we circle up. I'm getting everybody to introduce each other. We're high-fiving, we're laughing. Everybody's talking. And the line just starts to slowly drift to the point where it was like 3:10. We got to go in and we played the Nerf Dart challenge. And when I say we played the Nerf Dart challenge, I had a gun in one hand, I had the microphone in another hand, and I was yelling to the camera while we were shooting at people. It was awesome, Tom Bach.
That's awesome. So was it just like paintball style? Like everybody gets in a thing?
Style.
Yeah.
Everybody gets a gun, total free for all, Nerf darts all over the floor. They had these like rolly shelves that had a bunch of Nerf darts. So I had one kid, I proceeded to put him on my shoulders. I'm pushing the shelf. He's shooting at people, and we become our own mobile turret. I don't think they wanted us to do that, but we did it. It was pretty awesome.
That's awesome. How many people, how many kind of funny fans? I saw you guys tweeted like,
I think we got like 10, 10 to 12. Nice. It was a smaller group, but it was nice to see everybody there. It was fun. Got to meet some new faces, got to support them. Of course, we saw Enigma 9011, not only got to meet us, but earlier that day got to partake in the fall skirmish because they sent out an email before TwitchCon of like, hey, like, we're going to take some of the attendees and put you guys in on the 3 days if you want to get selected. Enigma got selected for the 10 to 12 p.m. time slot and actually got to partake and play.
Did he really? Wow. Can you imagine doing that? That would be amazing. Good for him.
I know. I told him before he went in, I was like, here's the deal, Enigma. This is what you have to do. Okay, don't let anybody kill you. You just hide until top 10, where then the shoutcasters and everybody on Twitch has to see your name and say your name.
That's right.
So don't die, just hide. And he looks at me and goes, that's a good idea, Mike. Maybe I'll do it. I'm like, don't even look at anybody. You literally land and you just start walking in a bush until you make it. And he was laughing. I think he said he did that once, then he died once, and then he tried again. But he seemed to have a good time with that.
Dude, that's so, yeah, you're not going to get real far with that strategy with those kind of players. They're probably going to get you.
They were destroying people. And so, yeah, to wrap it up, we saw the PlayStation trailer outside. We got to go in there. They had different TV set up. I got to play Spyro for the first time ever. That was pretty cool. Looks beautiful. Reminded me of the Crash trilogy that they upgraded. That was really fun.
Or next 2 weeks.
Yep. And the only downfall that we missed, Tom, that wasn't well publicized, but we kind of knew about it, was across the street from the convention, they had another area zoned out, but that was the Player Unknown's Broadcaster Royale by Omen challenge. So for 3 days across the street, you could go over there where they were having the Broadcaster Royale of nothing but PUBG. You could play PUBG, you could buy merchandise, and then you could see the Broadcaster Royale. So a little sad we didn't get to go to that because, PUBG still holds a little spot in my heart, even though Call of Duty seems to be kicking it in the back all the time. But it was nice of that. And so TwitchCon all in all was phenomenal. Of course, we had to wrap up the weekend with 2 of my favorite things in the Bay Area. One, the Kind of Funny crew. We took a t-shirt cannon. We launched t-shirts at them from across the street. Had to give him some SnowBikeMike merch. And then 2, we went to Tony's Pizza. Because everybody loves Tony's Pizza.
Of course. Dude, it sounds like an awesome weekend, man. I was like I told you, I was really wanting to go this year. I've never been to TwitchCon, and they're actually a big customer of mine. And so I got some comp passes and just couldn't make it work out. Man, that thing has grown. I asked you earlier about just, what is there enough to do there? Because it was, seeing it from a distance was really difficult to tell, like how big it was. And I kept seeing the summer skirmish thing, which, like you said, is just a separate tent. But I didn't realize they had turned it into just like a video game showcase because, we talked about PAX a month ago, and 4 days almost wasn't enough, if I'm being honest, because of the lines, which is an unfortunate thing. Yeah. But it's interesting to me that TwitchCon's gotten that big, that it is as big of a showcase, I think, for game developers and everybody else as it is now just for the Twitch community, which is really cool.
Oh, massive, Tom. It's incredible because I went the first year in 2015, and then they left the Bay Area to come back to this now for year 4 or year 5, whatever they're at since then, has been incredible to see the growth in that. To see what it was then, how many games they had on display, the people there, what it really looked like to that. Wow, the growth is tremendous. It's incredible.
It's only getting bigger. It's only getting bigger. I know we'll move on and talk some games here, but the we saw Doc's Code Red tournament and stuff, and I start thinking about these business models and what Twitch is going to, what Twitch's growth is just in general, the things that they're going to need to do to kind of stay ahead of everybody else that's kind of doing anything even close, whether it's Mixer or whoever. But man, that business is going to be, 10 years from now, man, like I can't even imagine what Twitch could mean. There's so much more it can do. They're literally just getting started. If you think about the way that they've set things up, I mean, they're not even in the first inning of what that business is going to be and could be. The fact that Amazon bought them, to me too, is such a huge, fork in the road of financial fork, obviously, just because of the backing of Amazon, but just the reach that Amazon has and the ability that they have to kind of, get them through some tough times if things do get tough because it's Amazon. Man, that business, it's sky's the limit for Twitch in my mind. There's so much more they can do.
It's only the beginning, Tom. We've seen the NBA G League. We're watching Thursday Night Football on this, all the big esports, normal streaming. I mean, this is only growing, is right, Tom.
The future,
we will wrap up topic with that. That is SnowBikeMike's 2018 TwitchCon adventure. We had a whole lot of fun. Shout out to the What's Good Games girls. Got to see them up on stage.
Good.
Shout out to Grand Pooh Bear. Shout out to the commish, a.k.a. Xavier Woods. Austin Creed, we got to meet him.
That's
Dap
awesome.
Hands out there. Of course, Tom Hawkins out there with the Total War team. We got to see a lot of people, got to meet a lot of people. It was phenomenal. But enough about that. Let's get into some games because guess what, Tom? We are in the heart of the fall and holiday ramp up of video games. Last week, we talked about Call of Duty Blackout and Blackout Mode and Black Ops. This week, we get to talk about Assassin's Creed Odyssey and Red Dead. It's going to be a big one. I think we need to start off with Assassin's Creed Odyssey, though, and then we'll move into it. So, Tom, right now, I do have to preference this. Last week, I told you all that I would play as Alexios, and Tom would play as Cassandra. I could not do it. I couldn't pass up the opportunity to play as Wonder Woman herself. So we won't have any Alexios talk. But, Tom, let's jump into it. What are some of your thoughts? What are some of your impressions thus far?
Dude, I'm glad you're playing as Cassandra because even the little bit of time and it's a little bit into the game that you finally get some time with Alexios as the other character. And the first thing I thought when he was talking was I couldn't deal with him as the main character either. Like, I'm so glad that I chose Cassandra. Man, I gotta say they're God, this is a lot like the other one we're going to talk about. It's tough to summarize kind of what the game is, but there's no question this is my favorite Assassin's Creed game, really since Black Flag. I think Black Flag was one that always kind of grabbed me. Always loved the ship combat and everything. But it's first of all, I'm really shocked that Ubisoft changed the game as much as they did in just a year's time. I mean, it's obviously the same shell of the game, but we'll talk a lot about sort of the quality of life things that they did to sort of make the game more playable and more user friendly. Man, this game really is amazing. I checked my time clock just so I knew kind of people, because I know it's a long game and people putting 60, 80 hours in. I was 41 hours in as of yesterday, so I've got a lot of time with it for sure. I am there. there are moments that I almost can't believe the game world is as big as it is. And there's something this does have in common with Red Dead as I walk around the game world is just the amazing scenery, the lighting, the feel of that this is a real place. Again, just like Red Dead, I really feel like I'm here in ancient Greece and in the sort of this fictitious yet world based on something that's real. Man, there's some amazing landscapes all the way from like places with huge tall trees and the deserts and the oceans and there's just a wealth of things to explore, every bit of which I want to explore. And in a funny way, that's kind of the thing that I do struggle with a game like this is there's so much to do that I have to stop at everything. And I'm that ADD gamer dude. I've always been that guy. Like I'm stopping at everything. I'm trying to get rid of every single base. I don't know that I love the fact that I'm kind of playing both sides because I sort of wanted to pick one of the sides. I sort of wanted to be Spartan, and I'm finding myself sort of fighting my urges to just jack with one of the pieces, which is kind of interesting, right? It's kind of a side thing. But dude, high level, I won't go into all that. I love this game. I'm enjoying the hell out of it. The combat's really satisfying. I think we talked quite a bit about I am a hard game guy. I play on a hard mode. Dude, this game on hard is hard. Like it'll put the spank on you, and I've had to many times now lower it down off of hard to normal and then back up and back down. Because, dude, there's some fights in there I just can't freaking get through. There are some wicked difficult mercenaries, some wicked difficult animals, some wicked difficult giant castles with like freaking 50 people you got to kill. That'll take you like 2 hours to do it if you're on hard. So, but I do love the combat. The combat's good. I love the story. Like, dude, I am fully invested in this Assassin's Creed game in a way. Even a lot of people have been talking about Origins. This is way past Origins to me. Like, I know there's things about Origins people really dug, but Odyssey to me is exponentially better than Origins. And I liked Origins a lot, but I think it's exponentially better.
Oh, Tom, you just nailed it on the head. I mean, this game is truly incredible for everything you just said. And really the big one that sticks out to me, just like you said, this was a year after Origins to this. How incredible to do from Origins to that. Wow. Incredible, incredible, incredible. So much fun. Tom, it's hard to put into words. I'm loving it. I actually get worried at times that I'm falling into my Witcher 3 syndrome where there is question marks on the map, and I feel like I need to do every
one of them.
Like I'm getting the feeling of like I'm scratching, like I got to get every single one of these. I'm freaking out. I can't stop, you know. And then it's like 3 hours later, and I'm like, I haven't done anything but search the map, and I got an issue now, you know. And so I really love that. A big issue for me, it wasn't really an issue. I had to just change my play style. Was I wanted to try exploration mode, where they kind of take off the hints and markers, and you kind of do it yourself. And so I did that for the first hour, and I found that to be extremely difficult.
Really?
Now, some people can find it easier because it says to you, hey, it's on the southeast side of this area. Go look around. And that really causes you to kind of, hey, got to go explore every single question mark, get all the names of the towns and know where I'm going. But for me, it was like, man, like at first this was kind of cool, but then it wore off of like, I don't have time to search every single map to the finest detail. Look for this small staff. Like, you just got to tell me where it is. So I turned that off, and it's made the playthrough more enjoyable for me of like, okay, this is where I'm going. Let's get over there. You know what I mean? Because I couldn't do, they had one where it's like, it's in the bay of Zeus's castle. And I'm like, where the heck is Zeus's castle? And what bay are you? We're on an island. Everything's the bay. What are you talking about? You know? And so I had to turn that off. I thought it was a cool feature, but for me and what I wanted to accomplish with this, I was like, no, we're just going back to the normal play style. The fighting has grown on me. I will say Origins was a big change for me with the triggers being the fighting mechanic instead of what we're so accustomed to with Batman and the original Assassin's Creed
Dark Souls style now.
XXXXX, you know, why dodge this, XXXXX. Now for this to change that up, I've finally gotten more accustomed to it where I feel strong and, you know, in control of the battles. Because in Origins, I felt like I was just frailing around, just like kind of hitting people. I didn't know what button to hit. That was a big learning curve to get over. And now for this one, I feel good. I like that there's different weapons. I like that Cassandra looks dope. I mean, she is just Spartan kicking people off the buildings.
It's fun.
And I love what you talked about with the mercenaries. My favorite part about this game right now is how much the mercenaries feel like Shadow of Mordor and Shadow of War with all the funny names. I mean, I'm over here fighting Iskabar Camel Face, and I'm like, did they just make this name up? Like, what the heck is this guy's name? And like, I've had 4 of those now where they come up and it's like, you know, Joey Palm Oil, and I'm like, what kind of name is that right here? And so I love that feeling.
Me too.
My issue, though, I don't know if this makes you, if you get this, or maybe it's just my wanted level, we'll call it. But every time I clear out a base or like I kill a mercenary, all of a sudden it's like 3 seconds later, guess what? Here's another mercenary.
Yeah.
I'm like, whoa. We got to slow down with the mercenaries. Like, I just cleared this base, or I just killed this guy. I don't need another mercenary showing up. I had one point, I had to fight 3 mercenaries at once.
I had that happen too. I had that happen in a quarry. Yeah.
Hey, this is cool and all, but like, you got to give me a little breathing room, like back up just a little bit where it's like, okay, I beat that mission. Like, good job. Let's figure out where we're going next. Not, oh man, Joey Palm Oil and Foxhound Face are coming to fight you now. Do something with your life, you know?
Yeah.
Oh.
But you know what's really weird though, man? And this, I'm with you on that one too, because that one did kind of bug me. I'll talk about the cult ones in a minute, because I love the cult. The whole cult structure is really cool, right? Taking out the cult members. But one thing really weird that I noticed, I think that this encouraged me in one sense that I could mainline the story a little bit quicker, which is kind of my goal now that I am where I am. Pretty high level. I think I'm in the 30s-ish. I have to go look and see. But I think I can mainline it, and here's why. So, you know, early on when you destabilize a region in order to trigger one of the big epic battles, right? So you pick one side or the other, Athenian or Spartan, you destroy a bunch of stuff, all the purple stuff, and then you trigger the battle. Well, the whole point of I don't know if you've done one of those battles yet, where you're just on the big battlefield and it's like a big war going on.
Exactly. Kill like 5 lieutenants or whatever.
Exactly.
Yes, right.
The only thing that you get out of that, so 2 things. The only thing you get out of that when you're done is a yellow piece of equipment, right? So you get one of the legendary things that come out of it. But one thing I noticed, so I want to say it was probably like the 3rd or 4th. I had already done 2 or 3 of those, and then I triggered it and it was ready to go, but I got distracted and never did it. Well, if you don't do it, one of the 2 of the sides will refortify the area back again. So they'll take it back over. So it doesn't stay in a state of, you know, ready to be overtook, which is, I thought was really interesting. So what happened was, so I was like, well, that's really weird. So I destabilized it, but I just didn't happen to finish the mission. It flipped from Spartan to Athenian on its own, and then it fortified itself back up. So just for shits and giggles, I went back and destabilized it and did the fight, got my high level piece of merch and moved on. But then I realized, man, you don't have, if you don't want to go get any of those, because every time that I got a good piece of gear, I would get kind of annoyed that I very quickly outgrow it. And as you noticed, it's really expensive to upgrade the thing. It takes a hell of a lot of effort to take something that you really like and keep upgrading it. It's really expensive. It's a bit of a grind. And so I kind of stopped and went, man, I don't have to destabilize any of these areas, because the only thing I'm going to get out of them at the end, at least as far as I can tell, there's no story implications. You're not trying to flip them all to Spartan. You're not trying to flip them all to Athenian. They're just going to go the way that they go. And if you choose not to do them, the only thing that you're missing out on is not getting a high level piece of gear that you're going to outgrow in an hour anyway. So I was like, well, shit, all of those bases I've been clearing out, all the guard posts, who cares? I'm just not going to do them anymore, because there's really no point in doing them other than if you want to have fun with them. So that took a huge amount of pressure off me for back to your question about seeing the question marks and seeing everything.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't have to do any of them because they don't go anywhere. Because even if you did them, they don't really matter in the big picture of stuff. And so, dude, I'm ready to mainline the story. I'm excited to see where this thing goes next. Like I said, the Cult of Cosmos thing is a fantastic addition to be able to one by one go through and pick these people off. Dude, there's a whole third of the map I haven't even seen yet, which I'm amazed by. Like, just, I get in the ship and start kind of rocking and rolling like, oh my God, look at how far I gotta go.
That map is gigantic.
It's gigantic.
That map is massive, Tom. Oh my God.
They packed so much into that map too, and all the hidden stuff. And it really is a special game. I do a couple of small, you and I were talking about, texting about, I wish they would have done a little more with the ship combat. I thought they could have taken the Black Flag ship combat a little more liberally, because they had like the long range mortars are a lot of fun.
Yeah.
There was 4 or 5 other little weapon mechanics in Black Flag that I feel like they could have added. And then the only other thing that I'm missing, and I'm genuinely missing it, you mentioned in the combat, is being able to block. You don't have a shield in this one, and I really liked in Origins that you had the ability to block and dodge, and was way more Dark Souls style to me in that sense.
Yeah.
But other than that, dude, I love the arrows are great. Being able to control them is great. The powers are amazing. Like being able to mix and match, and I think I've unlocked like 3 levels of the tiers where you can flip through them multiples. Man, there's so many good combinations of stuff, like the kicks.
So cool.
You can set stuff up with poison and kicking people, and it's a great sandbox, man. That's a game I'm going to be playing, I think, for quite some time still.
Oh, Tom, I mean, just to piggyback off of that for a moment, incredible to think on Assassin's Creed 1 and so many iterations, it was literally you just stabbed people and ran away. Now we actually have special moves and powers that you can balance and change up. I mean, I'm just thinking Assassin's Creed 1 just came to Xbox One backwards compatibility, and literally playing that is X and Y, jump around and hide.
And climb
Now
stuff.
it's like,
right.
Exactly. Now I got Spartan Kick. I can shoot 3 arrows at once like I'm the Scorpion King, Dwayne The Rock Johnson. Like, this is cool and fun. And yeah, Tom, I think I love that the boat and the naval combat is back. I think that was a great addition to put back. It's a little more bare bones, like you said. And I notice I'm messing up. Maybe I've missed. I didn't read the tutorial all the way through, but I'm stuck only shooting the arrows. There's like the javelin one, you know,
right
but
bumper.
I can't get that one to shoot. It just, I don't know. I'm pressing all the buttons wrong, or like I'm just not holding it
it's
down
just right
right.
trigger, right
like,
bumper. You just
I
one
shoot
of
the arrows,
one of them's right trigger, one of them's right bumper. That's
and I'm like, shoot the javelin, and they're like, they won't shoot the javelin. I'm like, all right, forget the goddamn javelin. Like, let's just keep shooting arrows. Then I don't care.
Ship battles
And
are
so I
tough
like
too.
that.
There's some tough ships out there, man. There's some.
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah.
And it's funny. You talked about the destabilizing of the place. I've only done one. I'm still pretty early, but I've done a fair amount. But it was funny because the guy was like, okay, you can do all of these to destabilize this, or you can just go to the main base and kill that guy. And I looked right at him and I was like, I'm going to go kill this guy. And I literally walked to the main base. I stood outside, stared at him like a hawk looking at my prey. And he walked inside and I was like, guess what's about to happen now, dude?
About to die.
I'm killing you. And I literally jumped through a window. Oh, he yells, and I stabbed him in the neck. And it was like, you destabilized the region. I'm like, high five, butt slaps all around. Let's keep this game moving, y'all.
Yeah, dude, I got to get through it. And I've seen people putting up, I mean, it's, you know, the 60, 80 hour games really do get up in there. And I do want to see where this goes. I don't have any idea where the story goes. I have the strategy guide. I haven't looked farther ahead. The story does seem really interesting though. Like just with her father and mother and all these other kind of elements, they did a really nice job with the script and investing me in it. And I'm so glad I'm playing as Cassandra. Like the voice acting is really solid.
Yeah, she's great.
She's really good. Like I feel very connected to her, and I feel like I'm playing like she's acting. Do you know what I'm saying? Like I feel like I'm becoming her more as I do it.
Yes, and I like that I get to choose some of the dialogue options. I love the dialogue tree. I like getting involved, and it's not just a story. I get to kind of be the narrative in that. I'm going to ask you this one, Tom. When did Assassin's Creed start to use so many curse words? Because for some reason, there is so many F words, malakas, whatever you want to call it. I didn't know that we were just so dialogue heavy on curse words all of a sudden. When did that switch happen? Which game was that where they were like, you know what? We're just going to curse like sailors in this video game.
Dude, it's weird. And you want to hear something that's so weird that you say that because, you know, my oldest kid's old enough to hear that kind of language, but I noticed it when I was playing and my youngest was in the room at one point. I'm like, oh, I got to pause it. But you want to hear something really crazy? So, and we can flip over and talk about Red Dead here in a minute. The first 2 hours of Red Dead, which you'd think would be cowboys in the old West, there's not one single curse word. Like it, I was somehow at one point I was just kind of listening and I'm like, I don't think they've said anything even, I mean, because GTA, so over the top, right? Just constantly as filthy as it could be as far as a video game goes. There's nothing in Red Dead, zero. And yet Assassin's Creed is loaded with this, like
loaded, Tom.
Loaded. Yeah, it was very, very strange. And I don't know if they made a hard effort to go mature with it somehow. Because, dude, not only that, because she's banging everybody too, right? You can hook up with some old lady.
I was forcing myself on that one girl.
That one
She's
old lady.
She's like, hey, like, the girl who you help her father, and then she becomes part of your team. Odessa. And she's like, hey, I'm kind of tired. And I looked at her, I was like, you're not tired today.
You're not tired tonight, darling.
It was like 6 lines of back and forth of me just forcing myself on this lady. And I started laughing there. A couple of ones before we wrap up this is, one, I'm so happy that this game is so great, especially with Red Dead. Right now, this fall season, we have 2 massive open sandbox games where, the game is 60 to 80 hours, but you could spend hundreds of hours getting lost in that, having so much fun. Rarely do I feel like I have a game like this where I love it, and I'm like, you know what, I could just be here for a long time just doing side stuff, and it's great to have both of those. I want to touch on really quick buying stuff and upgrading like you talked about. So you talked about how quickly you leveled up, how you kind of just threw things to the sideline and stuff. You know me, I'm a sucker for in-game purchases. I like to look cool. I like to be the best. I like blah, blah, blah. Well, in this game, I didn't buy the XP boost or the loot boots. I just bought the cool outfits, which I did in Origins as well. And so I bought an outfit the moment the game started, right? So she looks super awesome in this badass red assassin's cloak. But the issue is when you buy it, it's all level 1 gear. And it doesn't level up with me to the point where I'm finally level 10, where I unlock the blacksmith, let's say, in the next town or whatever level it was, and I can finally upgrade. It costs so much to upgrade, Tom, that I'm probably at level 20 right now, and half of my gear is 15, half of it is 2 and 3.
You can't do that. You can't. You're going to get killed.
It's insane that my gear won't level up with me after I purchased it. I mean, I kind of understand it, but at the same time, like, if I purchase that stuff, maybe you should just level up with me.
I agree.
Because I'm not getting rid of these pieces. I bought these pieces, and good on them because I can't dismantle it, thank God, because, I'd accidentally hold X on one of my pieces and lose it, But, like, that should probably level up with me as my one gripe, because now here I am looking awesome, but I got level 1 gear on in a level 10 area.
You can't.
Like, that's not fair to me, I don't like that.
You can't play that way, especially like I was playing on hard. Like, you legitimately, you couldn't be more than a level or maybe 2 at the most beneath whatever your level was in the first place, because as you know, unlike in Origins, you could turn the auto leveling on and off for the missions. You could keep them at whatever level they were, or you could scale enemies to you. This just scales automatically. So if you pick up a quest at level 13, but don't do it till level 30, when you come back to it, it's a level 30 quest now, and everybody you see in it is 30. Yeah, man, that's the one thing that they really messed up, because even early in when and it's a little spoilery, but when you first find your father, you end up getting his sword as one of the first early things. Well, that sword's a really good sword because it gives you like a 20% advantage to your kick, your Spartan kick. Well, that's a sword I'd like to keep the whole game because I love that freaking Spartan kick. Like, I use it all the time. But I want to say I was like level 10 when I got it. And I quickly got to level 15, had to put the sword away because it's like 200 DPS under a normal level 15 sword. I went ahead and leveled it up. Dude, it cleaned me out to level it up one time. One time I leveled it up and it cleaned my shit out, like 10,000 drachma, however many materials, tons of wood. And then okay, I'm good for like maybe one more level. Now I've got it level 15. I can use it for 2 levels, and now I'm level 17, and it's worthless again. And now go try to upgrade it, and look how much it costs. So, man, they screwed that up. If they would have, and especially the ones you buy, to your point, I think that may be the one thing. I wish they would patch that. Not just the aesthetics. I'm not as much the aesthetic one, but, dude, some of those special weapons are really special, man. There's some really cool fire weapons or poison weapons, things that I want to mix and match, and I don't want to have to be upgrading them all the time. So, anyway.
Totally, Tom.
Dude, outside of that, man, what a great game, dude. This game is just fantastic.
And I'm riding on a unicorn.
And you got a
game
unicorn.
number 2 that I'm riding around on a unicorn. I mean, I look so dope, Tom. I'm literally just pulling up to people with a unicorn like, what up, everybody? And they're like, oh, shit, this guy's coming to kill us.
I love it.
All right, so clearly we're nothing but smiles and excitement over Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Right now, we're about 2 weeks into Red Dead. Unfortunately, I went to TwitchCon when Red Dead released, so I was a week behind everybody. I've spent a lot of time this weekend just playing it all night long, and I really want to talk about it with you, Tom. I'll probably kick this one off.
Yeah.
I think Red Dead is phenomenal, and we're getting a lot of mixed signals out there, which I totally understand. Man, I have some positives, some negatives, but all I can really say is the world itself, the environment, the narrative, the fun stories that you're getting, the moment to moment gameplay of how different and how wild it can be is truly incredible. I think there's some quality of life stuff that I can agree with people being negative on, but just like Assassin's Creed, the moment you turn it on, there's very few games where I am wide-eyed and attentive and into this, where I'm circling the camera all around me. I'm taking it slow. I'm talking to people. This game has that feel and has that for me. And of course, it probably should, because it's a Rockstar game and it's Red Dead 2. It's one of the most anticipated games ever. So that's how I'm feeling. What are you thinking, Tom?
Well, so first of all, did you see the story that it is the single highest grossing entertainment product of all time, including movies and everything else, which is insane. $750 million in 2 days. Incredible. So
I saw that. And a quick shameless plug. Remember, youtube.com/SnowBikeMike Gaming. I gave you the strong first 15-minute first look at Red Dead. If you were on the fence, and I put that little quote in there because, whoa, isn't that a big one, Tom? And I feel like we did that with Grand Theft Auto 5.
They beat their own thing. Yep.
Exactly. And to see Grand Theft Auto in the NPDs, is that what they call it, Tom?
Yep.
Right? I'm messing on the last letter. But to see that always be in the top 10 every single month since its release, guess what Red Dead's about to be? That every single month. Forever. It has to be, I bet, Tom.
You know what's so interesting too? So again, I'm completely blown away by this game, and it's way past what I thought it was going to be. For a lot of the reasons you said, like I don't know that I've been in a game world that I felt more. I'm not rushed to go through it. All of the things that I understand people can get frustrated with a game like this, but here, my biggest takeaway is this, and Rockstar did this on purpose, obviously on purpose for years as they were designing this game, is that they stuck to this vision of, I mean, it's kind of like an Old West simulator almost in a way, right? They created this big, amazing world, and they consciously made it. They could have done fast travel right from the get-go, and we can talk in a minute. I mean, you can unlock it, and it does make things a little bit easier. But the fact that they stuck to this vision and they chose not to make it an action-adventure thing, that they wanted to make it a slowed-down pace, that they wanted to... I mean, let's face it, dude, this is in the late 1800s. Life was not fast-paced, fast-moving. There wasn't... that they opted for a real experience and thousands of lines of dialogue, of things just going on around you. And I talked about the strategy guide thing. Dude, you should see the strategy guide for this game. There's so much you haven't even thought about that is in this game that I'm not going to spoil, that would literally make your head explode. Things that you can find, thousands of loot boxes, dinosaur bones, dream catchers, treasure boxes, stuff with aliens, these insane like sacrifice rooms, these underground caverns. Like there's so much here that every little single thing that I see begs me to explore it. And I'm 45 hours. I checked my game clock on this one. I've yet to see something a lot like Assassin's Creed that I didn't want to go explore. I don't care what it is. If I see smoke coming up, I'm going to go check it out. I'm going to go look at it. I'm going to jump into Eagle Vision or whatever it's called. Look for this, because there's a lot of small stuff too. You've really got to pay attention. And I don't know if you're using your Eagle Vision thing a lot, but you got to use it a lot, because there's a lot of little hidden switches on the sides of stuff. Anyway, back to what I was saying. I assume, and I think I haven't done this, and I'd be curious, people in the comments or people we talk to, I'm playing it very traditionally. And what I mean by that is very slowly, methodically. I'm hunting for my camp because I want to hunt for my camp. I'll kill a deer. Like if I know I'm coming back into the camp, I'm killing a deer on the way back in to feed it and make sure I've got food. I'm giving them money. I'm playing it as slowly and methodically by enjoyment of it. Like I'm not forced to. But I think once you unlock fast travel, which isn't too hard to do, I think you can mainline this thing a little bit more. So for example, I don't know if you farted around with the crafting system much, but dude, there's a whole crafting thing. You can make everything from poison tomahawks, poison arrows, split arrows, feather arrows. There's about 75 things that you can craft that I don't think you'd even know you can craft, that allow you to kill in different ways, to poison things, to light things. You can do fire arrows, fire bottles, tons of weird little things that I never even knew about. I think it's, when you set up your camp, it's one of those options down there. Go fart around with it, dude. You'll be amazed that you can make like 5 different ammo types for every single gun that you use to play the game differently. My point of that is, I think you can avoid all of that. I literally think you can play this game, no hunting and cooking. You can just get elixirs and stuff. You can just do this. Don't do it. You know, I've been fishing a bunch lately because I think it's kind of fun. But I think they set it up in a way that you can play it from extreme to extreme. If you want to fast track it and you don't want to screw around with, like you said, 10 minutes between a journey from here to Rhodes, and I get why that's frustrating to people. Like, I totally understand that. It's not to me. I enjoy the scenery and doing stuff. But if that's not your gig, look, I get it. But I think you can get around that. And I think you can get around not having to hunt and any of the things that are tedious. I think you can avoid. I'll be curious if you can, because that's what people are complaining about, right? It's too realistic. You're forced to eat. You're forced to clean your horse. You're forced to feed your horse. It's like, I don't want to do all that. So I think you can get away with that and not ruin the game. But dude, I'm telling you, there's so much in this game. If you look through the strategy guide, that you'll be like, I had no idea. I had no clue that was there. I had no idea that there was a whole set of submissions around whatever that exists. This game's been in development for 10 years if it's been in development for a day. That's how big this game is.
Incredible. Let's pause really quick. If Tom Bach didn't just sell you on this game, I fear that you might not be a human being, because Tom Bach just pumped me up so much that I want to scream and shout and turn on my Xbox right now.
I love it.
One, let's talk about it. Extreme to extreme. Like Tom just said, you can literally do anything. Or you might be like me, where I felt a little behind the curve. I felt a little pressured to the point where there's like 4 or 5 dots in your camp alone. And you know what I said to those, Tom? I'm not looking at those. I got places to go. Yeah. And I walked away. There's hunting grounds. There's stuff like that. And mind you, I'm still early in the game, and I do want to go to the extremes where I do everything. But I think, like you said, you don't have to do any of those. You can literally be like, I got other things to do. I'm leaving here because I haven't touched 90% of stuff that's around me. You know what I mean? You go to that first town, what is it called? Sweethearts or what? Valentine. And there's like 15 circles in there. And I was like, I'm not touching any of these. And then I said to myself, wait, slow down, Mike. Like, let's check this out. And then all of a sudden, I'm going to this circus tent where I thought I was gonna see circus freaks. No, it was literally a movie.
A movie.
I sat down and watched a bear movie.
Yeah.
It was like, okay, there's stuff like this. So yes, there's extreme to extreme, and there's so much cool stuff to do. I want to talk about number 3, about the fast travel and horse riding. So now, we talked about this way back in the day on the podcast, how my Red Dead 1 experience got, I wouldn't say ruined. It was still a great experience, but it kind of, put a bad taste in my mouth because I glossed over the fast travel system. I didn't think about it, and I had to ride my horse everywhere on that map back and forth, where it put a taste in my mouth of like, man, that was a lot of fun, but a lot of horseback riding that I didn't need to do, not knowing the fast travel system. So now I came into this one like, man, I think I'm going to fast travel a lot. Like, I don't want to do that. But there's 2 sides of the coin right now that I want to talk about. Side one, without the fast travel, I think they've done a phenomenal job of giving you things where you're riding your horse to point A wherever that you want to stop at. Somebody's on the side of the road, blind man needing money. I'm going to stop and talk to him. Hey, this guy just got bit by a rattlesnake. There is so many things moment to moment that you can do while riding that horse that it doesn't feel like I'm just riding a horse through a blank environment, right?
By the way, there's 325 random encounters that repeat them. 325.
Exactly. And so that was like Red Dead 1 for me. I was in a blank environment with a couple animals that would run by that you could hunt, but nothing like that where it was moment to moment I could just stop and do anything. There's like moments where the other gang, I don't know who they are. It's not Dutch Vanderlyn, because that's my gang.
The O'Driscolls.
The O'Driscolls will just roll up on me. They're like,
with fire,
hey, boy,
like
I want you to give me money. And I'm like, you better stop right there because I'm about to destroy you.
Yeah.
And so I think they've made horse riding fun. And I fear point number 2 is I think we might have just gotten pampered on Assassin's Creed Odyssey, where it was literally fast travel here, stab that dude in the neck. Fast travel over there. Stab that guy in the neck. Fast travel over there. Fight. Where it was like, man, this is insane. This is like, I'm everywhere and I'm doing it all. To where now I think a lot of people are coming into it of like, I just want to fast travel and get to it. Let's go. And maybe not thinking, you had the fast travel kill in Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Now you have maybe not fast travel, but horseback ride. Oh, there's a moment over here. Horseback ride. Oh, there's a moment over there. Horseback ride. I finally made it to my destination, And so I fear I'm in the mix right now. I'm in the mix of I kind of want to fast travel. I'm enjoying the horse. But at the same time, I think the horse might be my biggest complaint of when you're talking to people on the horseback, when you're riding somewhere, sometimes you just had enough and you just want to sit back.
Yeah.
I just need 3 seconds to drink my Gatorade. And all of a sudden, if you're not fully attent on that horse, if you're not paying attention to the stamina, if you're not smashing you'll run into something, you'll get the
Trigger.
GTA wasted screen. And it's like some of those moments that probably upset people similar to me of like, gosh darn it, why are you not just following the trail like in Assassin's Creed with the quality of life of, if I hold A, it will take me to that objective. And of course, I can course correct. I can stop at any moment, but at least it's going for me.
Yeah.
And this one, if you're not doing it, then the horse will either stop or you'll run into something and you'll be like, gosh darn it, that wasn't supposed to happen.
Yeah, there are some of the, and again, I led my piece with saying it's amazing that they stuck to this vision because they wanted it to be that way. But, those games that are the fast travel here, kill somebody, they exist. It's just not this game, right? And I applaud them for doing it because they knew that this was going to be somewhat controversial, that there's a few times that here's where I get frustrated with it. And you mentioned, the accidentally ones running into people when you don't intend to, because the controls are a little clunky and they're different.
Yeah, they definitely clunky is right.
They're clunky. The ones that I could have done without. Look, and I don't mind the horse stuff, like I said, just because I feel like there's enough going on. And again, I'm playing it because it's immersing me in that world, and that's how you traveled in 1880 or whenever it was. But the ones that I think I could have done without is if I'm gonna loot, skin, whatever, I don't need 10 seconds of a loot animation, picking a guy up, grabbing his stuff out. Like they could have sped some of those up. I think that would have helped a little bit because I don't mind the other stuff with the horse as much, but that to me, he'll get off his horse. He doesn't move as quickly as you'd like him to. He spends just too much time with some of that stuff. That's a little bit difficult. And hopefully maybe that's an easier one to patch and they can kind of not make it a big, long 10-second every time you want to loot a dude to get a freaking tonic off of him or whatever. Because, that one is a little bit rough.
Let's agree really quick. It is incredible the first time you see it.
Oh, it's great.
The first time he picks up that body, the first time he skins, you're like, oh my God, that is wild. And then on the 30th time, when he's doing that again, you're like, okay, there's 10 dead bodies here. Let's not do that, bro.
I know.
Let's not do this right now.
Dude, that is really difficult. And I do, again, the fast travel, there are stage coaches too. That'll speed things up. I do. And it's about $500 for people who haven't unlocked it yet. There's a couple of upgrades at the camp that you have to do to be able to fast travel. I'm not doing it. What's funny is I've got it open, but I'm not really doing it. Now, I've done it in select cases where I've decided I wanted to, but dude, think of all the great dialogue you have sometimes when you're traveling too. Like I'm playing it with subtitles on all around, and some of the conversations you hear of stuff that you wouldn't know is there, like somebody arguing about something will lead to a whole mission. I don't know if you've gotten in any of those yet, but I've had a couple where somebody was talking about something, I overheard it, and before I know it, they have me off on a wild goose chase doing something that's like, that doesn't just happen. And if I would have fast traveled, I probably would have missed all that. Dude, but anyway, I think I'm going to continue to play it until I get tired of the grind. And so far I haven't. So far, everything I see, I want to stop and check out. So far I've been, living in that world enough to not get frustrated. A few times I've caught myself kind of like overdoing it, like I don't need to hunt again, and yet I'm doing it anyway, and I'm throwing a freaking buck up on the back. Dude, there's 175 different animals. Think about that. Just animals alone, 175. Incredible. I don't know if you messed around with any of the challenges, because I think you hit left on the D-pad, there's everything from like marksman's challenges, herbalist, sharpshooter. Dude, there's some really cool challenges in there, like, kill 3 different species on one dead eye. Jump over so many different items or jump over so many different things in 15 seconds with your horse. They get more and more complex as you go. And what's really interesting, they're not just in name only. Every one of these rewards you, every like 3 levels, you get rewarded with something. So you'll get like a new bandolier that gives you 25% more ammo. So back to my point about you can play it from extremes, but if you're willing to invest the time in all the little pieces, they actually give you something of value. Like one of them is like your Deadeye doesn't run out, like 20% faster, stuff that like changes the way you play the game. So if you're willing to go off into all those weird little side things, speaking of one, and I'll tell you how when I had a moment yesterday. Have you got the treasure map? Have you found a treasure map yet? Did you find the guy that was giving out the treasure maps?
I have only had one treasure map, and that was because I was collecting debts from a man.
Okay.
And he gave me the treasure map, but they showed you where to go, and then it was like, okay, you're in the area, and it was just a massive tree. You couldn't have missed it.
Okay, that one. Okay, so there's another one. There's a guy, and I'll send you where he is. It just starts the whole treasure map sequence, and you get the first map. This dude, finding this first treasure was so satisfying because it was, I didn't cheat, didn't look it up, wanted to do it on my own. And I don't know if you know, but there's a lot more like platforming and parkour stuff you can do in that game than you may think you can. So you end up, and I won't spoil where it is, and but you can tell from the map, you're up on top of this high cliff, but you have to like go down this thing, jump across this cavern. Like you'd never find this treasure in a million years if you didn't know it was there. And to find it out of that was just like one of these like amazing video game moments that led to another treasure map behind that one. And so again, back to this, there's this whole other side content that you can choose to do or not do. I'm 99% sure you could finish the game whether you did it or not, but I think it's going to make for a way better experience if you do all the little stuff as you go, because every one of them, they let you get something out of it. So anyway, dude, this is a once in a 10-year game. We said it about GTA. I mean, GTA, like you said, is still on top of NPD, still selling. I have thought a lot about what online could be for this, because that's what GTA's tail became, right? You had a 6, 7, 8 year tail because of what online did, and they kept adding to it. This one really fascinates me. Like, what are they going to do with online here? Because it seems like there's not I mean, this sounds terrible because it's Rockstar. It doesn't seem like there's a lot, but then again, I would have said the same thing about this game in general, and yet they managed to make this thing that's so huge. Can you imagine this game when it goes to online and what's going to get added into this? How crazy that's going to be?
It's going to be incredible. And it's funny because a couple weeks ago, we talked about my fear of Red Dead Online, of GTA Online was so cut and clear of like, we're going to sell you new cars. We're going to sell you new clothes. We're going to put in new weapons. And it was understandable. This one is like, man, it's a Wild West. Like, how many horses can you put in? How many pieces of clothing? But when you really think about it, they're about to change the world with this one again, where you look at it through the single player's perspective and you think it's great. Wait until it's you in a lobby of 30 plus people with 8 of your friends on horseback going absolutely hog wild on some things. It's going to be a great time. And then you can think, we can go to extremes. We might just go out there, fish 1 hour and just chat it up. Maybe we're hunting a giant legendary bear, going real slow through the woods, trying not to scare it, like it's going to be a good time. And I think they've done a really good job. Same way they did with the GTA 5 of like, hey, online will come a little bit later. Let's not rush this right now.
Let's get everybody.
And I want everybody to know right now, if you think that Red Dead Redemption Online will work within the first day to first week, do not get your hopes up, folks, because we all need to go back to when GTA 5 was released online, and we proceeded to have a server lane this big and everybody and their mother trying to jam into it at once. I will never forget that first week of crying, being upset, making it halfway through character customization, not making it into character customization, making it through the first one, then being like, homies, where are you at? And all of my homies weren't there yet. So please know that you should not worry about this the first week to 2 weeks. They will figure it out. Let's not all jam-pack the highway on this. It's not going to work.
The biggest entertainment property of all time. Can you imagine? And by that time, most people be done with the game, a story, and itching to get into it. Like anyway, it's dude, I can't wait. If I'm not playing the game, I'm thinking about the game. It's one of those games to me.
Oh, it's like that, Tom is right.
I've never been rushed by it. Like every time I play it, I put headphones on. I don't know if you've played it with headphones. It's all I do now is play with headphones because the audio on it is really, really special. If you haven't done it, anybody listening to this, do yourself a favor, get it off your TV speakers, try it on the headset, and just feel the weight of the weapons and the shots, and there's a lot going on with the audio that is, you would never catch it unless you had headphones on too. So anyway,
I want to talk about 3 things really quick before we end this, because we have been having a phenomenal podcast, Tom. This is one of our best.
I love it.
So first one is, I want to talk about the white hats and the black hats being good or bad. Now, Tom, normally I bet you I'm similar to you. In every game I like to play from Fable and beyond, I'm normally the white knight in shining armor. Cool. I'm the greatest thing since sliced bread. I'm protecting everybody. This is my job on Earth. Well, I don't know what has changed. Maybe I've been listening to too much Kid Rock. I'm a cowboy, baby. But we streamed it and we went to Dark Mike, where all of a sudden this guy's like, hey, mister, be nice to me. And I'm like, wham, I'm punching him in the face. This old guy's like, hey, will you just give me a hug? I'm like, face, fool, get away from me. Really? I got one guy hanging onto a cliff. And he's like, please, mister, I'll tell you everything. You know what I did to that man?
See ya.
I stepped right on his fingers and I said, see ya, you fool. And so I don't know what this is, but something has changed in me where I've decided I am going to go Westworld on people, and I'm shooting everybody and their mama in this video game.
Dude, I had no idea. That's so funny that you say that. So what was funny, not funny, the whole intro to me showed, here's what I got out of the whole intro, the whole snow thing, that these were, they were criminals, but they were good-hearted people. They were calling each other Mr. Morgan, Mr. Vanderlyn, the women that were there. Like, it seemed like it would have seemed out of character to me to play him as a bad guy, because his whole tenor, his whole demeanor, his voice, his way of everything seemed like he was the white knight cowboy. Maybe I got that wrong, but that's how I see him. And so I've been playing it that same way. Although I will say, man, if you want to do what you're doing without getting your moral system screwed up, if they shoot at you first, you're good. Did you figure that out yet?
No, I didn't know that. Dude, I've been pretty bad.
If you roll up on a dude, he's like, get out of here, man. Quit looking at me, whatever. If you hang out long enough, it'll turn him red and he'll shoot at your ass. You can clean his clock at that point with no penalty whatsoever, right?
Nice.
You can bait people into not messing up your moral compass.
Oh, I love it. Now I want to talk about number 2, more along the character customization and making it your own. So now it's really cool. Of course, you got a hat that falls off. You can go chase it down. I took somebody else's hat. Now I literally have the black hat on and I look real mean looking. But I want to talk about the beard and dirtying yourself up and the horse dirt, right? So this was one to me of like, I don't got time for that. Like I said, I felt kind of behind the thing. I'm not washing. I'm not bathing. I'm not washing this dang horse. We got things to do, right? And that all changed for me the moment that I met my ex-lover, who turns out to be the hottest, prettiest young thing in the video game.
Oh, yeah.
And I proceed to get the cutscene of where my face is dark as hell because of the mud. I got a beard out to here, and she's looking like, hey, how you doing, Arthur? And I'm clearly like, I've been rolling around in the mud, killing people. I don't look good right now. And that's when I said to myself, oh, snap, maybe I should clean myself.
That's great. That's so funny, dude. Yeah, I'm the same. Like, I have taken a couple baths, I got to admit, but you can get clean the other way. You can just go through water. You can take your horse through water. I don't mind brushing the horse every so often. Big deal. But yeah, dude, I'm growing a pretty cool beard though. I gotta tweet it out here pretty quick.
I'm growing that beard is right.
I'm letting that sucker go. I'm letting it go.
And so the final one is, Tom, you talked about how into it you can get in the extreme to the extreme. A side mission is, I met a guy at a train station who was smoking packs upon packs of cigarettes, looking for special cards within the cigarette packs. And the first thing I said to myself, and I'm still doing, I'm going to smoke so many cigarette packs until I find all of those dang cards. I'm addicted to smoking now. And I'm on the hunt for smoking cards now.
Do you want to know how many packs and how many cards there are? Because I can tell you.
Lay it on me.
144, 12 times 12.
Arthur Morgan is going to die to lung cancer because of me by the end of this.
You can get them all from Premium Cigarettes. Like, there's a whole chapter in the strat guide about where to get them. They're all over the map, dude.
That's awesome.
That's when you got to use your eagle vision, because they're little tiny things. They're these little red glowy. You'll see them every once in a while. But if you open the pack, you get the card. You're good to go.
I love it. And my final one I want to talk about, similar to my Assassin's Creed purchasing armor and it not leveling up. This hasn't happened to me, but I did pre-ordered the game, so I know I have the racehorse, we'll call it. And I actually didn't even grab it. So I think you get it from that first stable.
You do.
And it's on like the bottom.
You do.
And I didn't know that. So I kind of just glossed past it and bought a different horse. So that's on me. But I was listening to one of my favorites, My Xbox and Me podcast with MC Fixer. And he complained about how he had the racehorse and then it proceeded to die and he didn't have that horse ever again and had to reload his old saves about 10% back. So I want to just get your feelings, everybody else in the audience's feelings of that is a downloadable content. Maybe that's a pre-purchase thing. How do we feel about the realism of your horse potentially dying and never being back again versus, hey, I kind of pre-ordered that for X amount of dollars. Like this horse should never die. So what are your thoughts on that as opposed to me where I just complained about my gear not leveling up? If my horse that I just died for $5 dies, I'm going to be freaking out.
Yeah, so I bought the ultimate version, which was $99, which was spendy. And that was one of the things was the thoroughbred. I have it. That is my current horse. He's badass. I mean, he's like 7.55, I think, are his speed and stuff. I mean, it's a good horse. I spent a little more money than I should have. Like, I got his tail all done up nice. I got a mohawk on him. Like, you can't mistake him. But so do we know for sure? So you're right. You do get him from the first stable. He's one of the choices. Dude, by the way, you can also get 3 free guns. I don't know if you're aware of that. So your other perk, when you go to a gunsmith, when you're going through the catalog, I don't know if you've gone through their catalog, there's a couple of guns that are $0 that are really expensive guns that you can go pick those up. One of them is like a Springfield rifle. There's a volcano pistol. There's a couple of other ones. So go check that out. That was they just don't tell you that that's what you got. For the
exactly.
Thing. So are we sure though that? So I thought once you registered your horses in the stable that you could always go back and get them, even if they died. Is that not the case?
I don't know. If you're listening to this podcast, you can queue up those questions, comments, and concerns. Let us know that. Maybe you know. From the way it sounded from MC Fixer,
he's gone.
He said that horse is dead.
That sucks.
And I had to reload a save, which I am totally against on
Me
that.
too.
Especially, yes, it's a pre-order bonus. I only paid the $60 version and got it, which technically I didn't buy it. You know what I mean? But if I were to pay something, or Tom with $99, if that horse were to ever die in this video game, you know what it needs to do? Respawn immediately. You know what I mean? I don't care.
Dude, that one I totally agree. And by the way, I like the horse dying mechanic. It sounds terrible. I like horses dying. I like the horse dying mechanic. I like having to look out for him, and people have been tweeting about how sad they get when their horse dies. And I had one die early on before I got the thoroughbred that I was really bummed about. Dude, but that is not in good form to have something you paid for not respawn. You can get another thoroughbred. I know there's a white one that I got my eye on that I saw in the strat guide that's out wandering somewhere that could be pretty cool. But dude, that's a bum deal if that's the case. I did notice though, so that I've left my horse a couple of times on a mission. Like I got off the horse, did something, and then I took another horse back, like bareback, and the horse stays where you left it, which can be kind of annoying. But then I noticed if you go to a stable, they can retrieve him. So you don't even have to actually go back and get him, which is kind of a cool little perk. So I don't think I want to risk.
Nice touch on that, Tom.
I don't think I want to risk killing my horse to see if Fix is right or wrong.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
Dude, if your horse dies and you paid for it, that can't happen. That's bad.
Well, that's perfect because I want to do my final 2 notes right here. Number 1, you hit it on the head. The horse mechanic of your horse stays in that general vicinity of where you just were, and you can't whistle it if you're far away. I mean, I understand the realism. I dislike that so much.
Yeah, me too.
Because I did a mission where you had to ride out to this guy's house and then take his carriage. Well, guess what? My horse is over there, and I just took the carriage all the way over here. Now I literally have to walk to something else. I didn't like that at all. You know what I mean? Of like, because I was still in mid-mission of like, drop that carriage off. Now go over here. And it's like, well, where's my horse at? What am I supposed to do now? You know? And my favorite is I'm hunting a giant bear and the horse is now following me. I'm like, back up, horse. You're about to get eaten by this bear. Back up over there, horse.
You can make him flee. You did that too. Funny. Me too. I know. Same thing.
Yeah. My final note though of the thing is the moment that you learn how to hunt and you hunt that bear right, I was streaming it. I had a number of people in the chat say, oh, I didn't get to kill the bear right off the bat.
You can't.
Well, you know me. Oh, no, I did.
Oh, did you?
I literally ran right up to that bear, punched it in the face, and we battled. So now I kill the bear. I get the legendary skin, right, Tom? Well, here's the issue. I'm so early in the game that the trapper hasn't been unlocked. There's no place to put that skin. So now I have two options. Literally ride around with this skin on the back of my horse for the rest of my life, or just ditch it in camp. And so now it's like a 5-minute conundrum of like, what are we doing, everybody? And people are writing in chat, oh, eventually the trapper will come. No, the trapper ain't coming right now. Or, oh, just leave it there, Mike. It will be fine. And I'm like, am I really doing that? I just killed this legendary bear.
Dude, how did you kill it? Like that thing, I don't know if that thing when it mauls you is like, it's like the Revenant, dude. It shreds you. It is like one of the...
I Leonardo DiCaprio that ass, Tom. I battled that thing, dude, baby. I battled him.
I thought you had to lay traps and dine it. Like I tried 50 times to kill that bear and didn't even put a dent in it.
No, I walked right up to it, and so many people in the chat were like, oh, he ran away from me. Like, oh, that's weird that you got him. He's literally 20 feet up from me, and that old guy, I walked right up to him, and it's on, Tom.
What did you shoot it with? Him. My God, that thing killed me so fast.
I was like, click, I was Westworld in that thing.
Oh my God,
like
dude,
Dolores.
You're amazing. So, I think it was a mistake. I think that's what happened. I don't think you're supposed to be able to kill it there. Like, I think it's like an elaborate kill. Like you have to put out scent and dynamite and poison, and like you're not supposed to just go up and kill that thing.
I killed the Tom. And so, like I said, there's the moral conundrum of me on stream for the next 10 minutes of like,
oh, that sucks.
I messed this up, didn't I? And so what I did was I left it on. I left it at the camp because I had to go on with my life.
Yeah.
And a note popped up as I left. It was like, hey, your legendary skin is now gone. Heartbroken, right?
No way.
I was like, that sucks. And they were like, but now when the trapper is unlocked, you will be able to get that skin, or you can repurchase it, you know?
Okay.
And I'm like, okay, that's good. But at the same time, like, that sucked. I killed that thing and I had nowhere to go with it. Literally nowhere to go with this thing. And just had to throw it on the ground and walk away. It's like, okay, that sucks, you know?
Dude, I got to say it. I think you found a little glitch there, because I don't think so that mission is so early on. You don't have any of your good weapons. I don't think you're supposed to be able to kill that bear that early. I don't. You DiCaprio'd up on his ass. You did.
Oh, well, that concludes topic number 2, our main topic of the evening. That was a whole lot of Assassin's Creed Odyssey and a whole lot of Red Dead 2. 2 of the biggest games this year. And I mean, 2 of the biggest games ever, because these games are phenomenal. They're a lot of fun. I hope you're enjoying them. Please, me and Tom love to chat it up with you, the audience, the best friends that support us on the podcast. So cue up those questions, comments, and concerns in the comment section down below. Me and Tom love to jump into them. We want to hear, how's your Assassin's Creed's going? How's your Red Dead 2 going? We want to know all of your frustrations, all of your praises. Just tell us anything. Get in the comment section, because Tom Bach loves it and I love it.
Heck yeah.
We're going to round out this podcast because we are going long. I mean, we're having too much fun. So we're going to blow the whistle. We're going to do a quick sports chat with SnowBikeMike and Tom Bach, our favorite right now. We got NBA season underway. We're about 2 or 3 weeks in, about 8-9 games into the season, and we have some fun storylines. Tom, we're going to keep it short, brief, and quick. Why don't you tell me maybe 1 or 2, 3 at the most of your favorite storylines happening in the NBA right now?
Well, my first is not my favorite, but it's the one that I'm just baffled by every night. You and I talked about before, is just the offense in the NBA this season. Like, what has happened? These games are getting up into the, like, if you're not posting up 125, you don't have a shot to win a game. Like, I don't think I've ever seen this before, where offense has gone where it has not. We can talk about the Klay Thompson one in a minute, but dude, these games, the Warriors scored 92 and a half of a basketball game. So defenses are just not doing much, or offenses' mentalities change that dramatically that it's going insane. So that's my first one. My second one is I'm a Spurs fan. The Kawhi trade seems to have worked out for both teams. The Raptors are
both teams, Tom.
8-1.
Team's fine.
Spurs are 6-2. Okay, so I'll leave it at that. Like, there's a lot of season to go. There's a lot of season to go. I didn't see that one coming. That's sort of amazing to me that seems to be working out for both teams. Everyone's happy and we'll move on. And then the other one is all these other weird little 2 big ones. You got teams that I didn't think would be quite this good this soon. The Bucks are 7-1. Amazing. And I don't see them. That's not a flash in the pan. That team's going to win 60 games probably. The Nuggets are 8-1. That team could win 60 games, which is insane to think about, where they were last year as a 6 or 7 seed in the playoffs coming in. And then the last one is you got your boy Bron, dude. The big story got the Lakers back to almost 500, which is awesome, right? Like to think that he's there, and his old team, wah. The Cavs are 1-8.
Whoa!
And
Fire Ty Lue.
Fire Ty Lue.
Fire Ty Lue. JR's yelling, "I want to get traded." Whoa!
1-8.
Whoa, Tom Buck.
One guy took that team from the finals to 1-8. If you don't think LeBron, if you're not watching, watch Brady and A-Rod tonight, which is going to be amazing. It's two of the greatest quarterbacks ever lived. If you don't think LeBron has completely changed what that sport is, and you'll never see that again probably in your lifetime, you got another thing coming, because he's showing you right now that he is. So those are my biggies, man, and we can die. I want to talk about the Clay one too. So lay it on me.
Those are great. We'll talk about the Clay one for me. I just want to touch on yours. I think, like everybody's been saying the past 3 or so years, of this is the perfect fan experience. It is high scoring, electrified basketball. Yes, we want to see some tenacity. I want to see some lockdown D. I want to see people get physical. But from a Giants fan global perspective, you cannot be asking for anything better. I mean, these scores are high and crazy. And I watch my NBA League Pass, and they have an option there called Condensed Game, where they just start chopping out, like where people are just dribbling or timeouts or anything. The condensed games are still 30-plus minutes because there's so much scoring, Tom Bach. It's literally so many smash cuts of this guy scores, then they cut it over there, this guy scores. That's how much scoring is going on, that even a condensed game feels almost too much. It's incredible, Tom. It's incredible. My big storylines, of course, one of my favorite point guards. I love the point guards. I love the big boy. That is John Wall. Wow. The Washington Wizards just flat out suck. And we got an issue over there where this team, like I used to talk with you over through the podcast, this was a top 4 team in the East that just needed LeBron to go and needed a good playoff run to beat a Boston or Philly. Now LeBron is gone, and this is what's happening to this team. They're just tanking, and they suck.
Weird.
Now, the issue is Dwight is coming off injury. He will return shortly. Maybe that gives him a boost. The issue now is, do you trade Bradley? Do you trade Wall? John Wall seems like a great idea to trade. Maybe you'll get big money for him. The issue is John Wall's contract is so gigantic that nobody's going to want to touch him. This year, he gets $33 million or something like that.
Crazy.
Where it's like, that's manageable. That's not that bad for a top tier player. But then after that, it gets outrageous where we're talking 48, 58, 68 for the next couple of years, where nobody's going to want to touch John Wall.
And who needs him?
Nobody will sign that guy.
Who needs him?
Right.
Of the top teams in the East or the West, dude, point guard is the one spot you don't want to be playing around with, because there's so many great ones that who needs him?
Who needs that? And so that's my story number 1. I'm going to save story number 3 because that's where we'll come together. So story number 2 then is the Western Conference and what is going on with all of these big bodies and these big teams. It is going to be incredible once we come to the end of the season stretch after All-Star break and playoff season of what teams are making it. Is Portland going to make it up there? Will LeBron will all of these rookies to make this into the playoffs? They just picked up Tyson Chandler. I think him and JaVale will be good big boys. You had Rajon Rondo jaw-jacking at this cute girl courtside a couple of days ago. I don't know if you saw this highlight, but it was great, Tom, where these two girls clearly just leaving the game. I think she said something to him, and he proceeded to look at her and give her the tongue lashing, where it was like, oh, shucks, this team is what I'm all about. Lance Stevenson, that's the squad I want to watch. Yep. What's going to be Phoenix? What's Devin Booker and them doing down there? The Nuggets?
Ayton looks crazy. Yeah.
The Nuggets are in there? What is going on with it? Am I going to have to become a Denver Nuggets fan again? I didn't think I was ever going to do that.
Duncan, baby.
Is Carmelo and Houston going to do anything?
Nope.
What's Duncan going to do in Utah? This Western Conference, even the Sacramento Kings are playing well by Sacramento Kings standards.
They're 5-3.
They're in the middle of the pack,
right?
And they're playing well with a bunch of young stars. What is happening in the West?
Messed up.
This is insanity. And then the flash over to the East, like we talked about, LeBron's gone. There's a power vacuum there, but we know the top 3 teams, Toronto, Boston and Philly. Yep. But who else can make a run? Giannis is 7-1, carrying the Bucks. Dwayne Wade's on his last dance. Hashtag the The Last Dance. That's the most beautiful
It is.
hashtag I've ever seen for him. That is awesome. I love that one so much.
Yeah.
And then you got Kemba scoring. I mean,
Records.
I can't wait to see where we're going. This is incredible. So it gives me goosebumps, Tom, to think about. And I say to myself, thank God I got NBA League Pass because I'm watching like 5 games a night.
Dude,
it's
I love it.
incredible.
And you know what's great about the NBA too? Unlike the NFL has teams that start off like 5-0, 5-1 that can go back to 5-5 or 5-6. You don't see that in the NBA generally. If a team starts out 7-1, 8-1, like we're seeing with, the Bucks, the Raptors, the Nuggets, the Dub, these teams are, I mean, they're not going to always win, 9 out of every 10 games, but largely that's what you're going to see from these teams, unless they get big injuries, which is always kind of a big thing. But like you said, the East is so interesting too with, getting, kind of Kyrie and Gordon Hayward back on Boston. And what was that going to do with, kind of Tatum and Rozier and that whole crowd of people? Because they're not going to be able to keep that team together forever. This is the year for them to go do it. Dude, Embiid is just talking out of his mind like every game.
Oh my God. He's incredible.
He's incredible. He wants another piece of somebody. He's flopping, faking, kicking people out of games. Like, I'm with you, man. This is the most excited I've been about the NBA as far as not really knowing what was going to happen in a long time, with one exception, which let's go to it now, is this.
Oh, wait.
Yeah.
One, we haven't even seen DeMarcus Cousins hit the court yet.
Right.
Incredible. I cannot wait to see that grin and smirk of his as they battle it out.
Crazy.
Steve Kerr with an off comment of, we won't have money to sign him next year, so we're going to get him a finals. I don't know if we should have said that early in the season. I don't know if it was already like, we kind of knew that, but I thought we would just kind of maybe move some money around. We'd get this season. We'd get a victory, hopefully. That's a long way away. And then maybe we'll restructure.
They're going to be loyal to their guys.
Yeah,
first, right?
But that was interesting comment that early in we're 8 games in the season. He's saying we're not going to re-sign him. That was interesting.
Yeah.
And then my other one is, we need to start a petition. Kyrie Irving needs to keep that fro. He looks so good with the afro and headband. Uncle Drew is in the building, killing the game. Tom, if you haven't seen that movie, or if any of you haven't seen that movie, please go watch Uncle Drew. It is hysterical.
I haven't seen
There are moments where I couldn't breathe. I was laughing so hard with Chris Webber, Reggie Miller, Shaq, Nate Robinson. I mean, they had a cast of people that would just make you laugh, and you never thought it was going to be.
As such a basketball guy, it kills me that I haven't seen it. I'm 100% going to see it, though.
Let's wrap up the podcast with that big one, which is Derrick Rose scoring 50. The best one was on Twitter. People were given the 30 for 30 mantra of like, what if I told you? And then they had people finish the sentences. And it was like beautiful ones of like, you didn't think that a rose could bloom twice. That gives me goosebumps because that was so beautiful. Because back in the day, it was a rose could bloom from the concrete. And like, that was so great. And now we have Klay Thompson out of his mind setting a record for threes against Steph, which the best one is that duo is so together with each other. It's hard to think that any one of them could ever leave, but to see Klay beat Steph's record and those two fist bumping, smiling, hugging, like it wasn't like, oh bro, you beat my record, I hate you.
Right.
It was like, nice job, dude. Like tomorrow I'm going to up you now. You know what I mean? Like that was incredible, Tom.
It was, man. But like you and I talked about before, I'm with you, man. That, to think about scoring 50, whatever he did, 52, he didn't even score from the field. It was only threes, 14 threes, which is insane, or whatever it was, 52 and threes. So here's what I didn't like though, man. And this is back to this theme about offense. And look, the NFL's doing this too with great success. Ratings are through the roof. People are complaining like crazy about all the quarterback protection, all that, but they're getting what they want out of the game, which is a constant highlight reel, lots of scoring, offense sells. People love it. On the flip side, and I'm old, dude, and I played college basketball back in the day where I didn't get near the paint. I'm 5'9", like I didn't wander within 15 feet of the basket because physically you couldn't do it. There was different rules back then. You didn't go in. And even in the 80s and 90s, as I was watching, the Lakers teams, the Pistons teams, the Knicks teams, and all that, there was a level of physicality to the game that, you can argue probably stifled the game a little bit offensively and made it a little tough, but it was also, there was a structure to it. There was a pecking order to it. And you had to, that's why AI was so amazing. People who didn't watch Iverson, that's why Iverson was amazing, is he did that at 6'1", 165 pounds in an era that if you wandered within 10 feet of the basket, people would literally rip your head off. Right. And so all I could think about with Klay, and even worse with Rose, even though Rose is such a good guy that this probably wouldn't happen, was if I'm on the defense and these guys are literally clowning me to the point of getting Clay a shot whenever he wants it, and you could see them just orchestrate. I mean, dude, they were going out of their way to get him that record. The last 5 minutes there was kind of ridiculous. Like, they would pass up open layups to get him a three, like literally open layups.
Yeah.
All I could think about is if I'm the defense, if I'm back on these old Pistons bad boys teams, if I'm on one of these Knicks teams with Charles Oakley and these guys, you wouldn't get a shot off. I would foul every player on my team out of that game on defense. So he did not get that record either on my court, his court, with me in the highlight reel. Like, it is not happening on my watch, period, full stop. Like, I was amazed that they let him take open look after open look after open look. They're laughing, high-fiving. All I'm thinking, there's like, what is it? Tackle him. I don't care if you technical foul yourself out or foul. Don't let this happen to you. Dude, the NBA is so different now. Like, Rose, dude, dribbling around. Like, he dribbled more than the entire team himself. Like, can you imagine, like, in the 90s, like, Reggie Miller, dude, Reggie wouldn't have walked out of the arena if he would have tried to make 14 threes in a game. They would have fouled him on every shot he took. So that was, I don't want to be the down guy, but that kind of bothered. It's like, where's the pride that these guys have to not let this get set against me, you know?
Oh, Tom, you and I are cut from the same cloth because I've always grown up and play my style of basketball, priding my defense. And there's one rule. If somebody's clowning us, I will either push him into the front row of the stand, I'll break his leg, I will attack him at the rim. There is no way that I'm going on that highlight reel being the guy with my hand like halfway up and him splashing threes on me. Like, that is just embarrassing. But that also shows you that Warriors team is so together that they will attack records. They will attack you every time on the court and make you look bad. I mean, this team is so well put together, so good that they are going to be too hard to stop. And man, some fun stuff to kick off the NBA season, Tom. We will have so much more. That only's happened in the first 9 or 10 games of the season. We got 81 to go. So get ready, folks. We got a whole lot of sports and NBA to talk about, but we'll wrap up with the podcast with this. Hey, thank you to each and every one of you for tuning in. Welcome back to the Game Time Podcast with your boys, SnowBikeMike and Tom Bach. We are back bringing you more video game and sports talk. This episode has been phenomenal. Remember, we want to hear back from you. So if you are watching, listening, whether it be on SoundCloud or YouTube, please type some comments in the chat. Leave them for us. We'd love to respond to you. Keep this conversation going, whether it be about TwitchCon 2018, Red Dead, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, or anything sports related. We want to talk to you. Thank you all so much for your patience. We are back and getting in the groove of things here during the holiday season. Tom Bach, thank you so much for joining me again on another awesome week of podcasting. Where can everybody find you?
Find me, Galunga, on Twitter. And man, we had a great time. You know, I haven't put a lot of hours into Blackout. We got a few in the other day. Man, I like that game a lot, Mike. I'm enjoying it. We got to get some time. I'm not traveling this week. I'm here. I'm here for you, brother. We will be blackouted this week.
Good. The boys will be happy. And I can tell you my sleep schedule has now been ruined again because of Blackout, just like PUBG, where I am addicted to playing this and getting hot drops, getting wins, getting losses. It doesn't matter. That is so much fun. Great Battle Royale. Of course, you can find me at SnowBikeMike on all of your favorite social media platforms, Instagram, Twitter, whatever. Twitch.tv/SnowBikeMike. I'm broadcasting to you live 5 nights a week with that high energy fun and that spicy game play. And of course, go check out the YouTube channel where you're probably watching this right now, youtube.com/SnowBikeMike Gaming. We are bringing you not only the Game Time Podcast, we are also bringing you strong 15 first look gameplay minutes of all of your favorite games coming out so you can decide to buy or skip some games. And of course, we have the 60 seconds of hype videos coming out where I just tell you hyped up sessions about what video games I'm playing and what I'm enjoying. Go check out Pizza Titan Ultra. We got another one dropping later this week. And our final one is go check out the SnowBikeMike vlogs. We got Kind of Funny Prom. We got RTX 2018. We got When I Did Kind of Funny Games Daily, and TwitchCon 2018 will be releasing soon. So a whole lot of content to check out over there. And like I always tell you, Tell your mama, tell your daddy, tell your best friend, tell your auntie, tell that cute barista at your local Starbucks where to find all that fire content. This is your boy, Snowbike Mike and Tom Box signing off for the week. Always remember to be kind to one another, be safe, and of course, have fun out there. Peace, everybody.
Peace.